interrupts when you're trying to make a play. Maybe even some steps not being heard while you're running around the map. It is experience versus a team and their crowd. And the fact is, a lot of the time, experience still comes out on top, and that's what NRG has in droves. Round. Both teams wanting to get off to a hot start. It's an aggressive push up from Mini. The Neon already finding one, but not expecting so many players to have already pushed past. Beepo on the site under pressure, has a rotation coming in, but already Marder will take him down. The remaining defenders a little bit further away as they look to wrap around, and although
cover going out.
Either way, looking to try and get back into that retake. A 2 versus 4, an attempt that doesn't look likely, and Martin is now all that stands in their way. It's looking like that pistol round will go the way of NRG, a first, and already look at Ethan trying to silence that crowd.
Well, it seems like we might be back on a roll here, Tom. A little bit of a shaky start in the back end, but hey, what we're seeing up front's looking pretty good. In terms of NRG, as we said, or as perhaps we did, for this squad, if they come in here and start confidently, that's going to be what they need to shut that crowd down. We know that they draw energy from playing against the crowd. They don't really have much of a choice a lot of the time, certainly not on European soil, and what we've seen, certainly not on French soil in this very city. But that never stopped them before, and it doesn't look to stop them now. Up against the Pistols, a decent trade with Starzo claiming one. The shock dart's deadly to start, and they've even stopped the aggression out of NRG. The brakes have been pumped now by the attack side. And even being able to contest like that with the weaker weapons, not a bad sign. Instant rotation from the Gentlemates, who now will have to play a gamble. Stacking up a sight blind, and well, they haven't decided where they want to put that nest egg just yet.
Yeah, taking their time. It's going to be integral that while having this much of an advantage, you don't want to throw too much away. They only brought 2 rifles into this round, so the SMG that has been lost is not too detrimental, but it's what the mates look to do with it. And unfortunately, they're on the wrong side of the map. Now the cam eventually is probably going to give the game away. Beepo should spot the majority, but now they are just too far away
30 seconds left
to get anything from this scenario.
Yeah, having to flood back in after is not going to be ideal. You could see NRG even giving them the respect, waiting for extra utility to come crashing through, assuming that they would try to do some extra damage on the plant.
Going up.
But eventually it's found, and okay, mates managed to find themselves a tunnel out to sight. The flood has begun. Decent damage. If they find another kill here, the cost will really start to add up, and nice work from Brock to stop this from getting even more scary. Look at out still with the 2 rifles. It's not quite as bad as it could have been, but signs of life early on from Gentlemates, and every pick they get, even with the classics, the crowd's erupting.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely, like, let's not beat around the bush. This is a biased crowd, an incredibly biased one, but realistically, all the players on the NRG side have been in these sort of scenarios before and have got that experience in droves. They went into this map of Haven, one that, in this tournament at least, hasn't looked bad for the mates, but ultimately is one that they are 6-1 on over the last few months. And already, with an operator on Takiko, this buy has a lot more bite than might be expected.
Well, minute 15 on the clock. This position for Mini is about to be tested. The drone's gone through, it's spotted him. The wall up to get out, actually blocks the flash. Beautiful work from Mini! A second on the tally. He won't quite have a safe way out. Try to speedily run across, but down on 36, he's worried about the spam for Kiko. Grabbing one from that long position, the AWP. A big threat here, and Ethan's going to try to take space towards their spawn, be a menace on the rotates, but they've spotted it. They're more than aware, already closing in the walls on him and leaving it into this 4v2.
Teleport's ready.
Even still, the weaponry in hand gives them a chance. Good flash will force Kiko back and force him back far. Not with a lot of control other than what Brock currently holds. It's a fantastic dart, but he's unable to capitalize on it. Even still, a low HP player, but they've gone straight through. Mini with his third kill of the round, and that defusal is already underway for Kiko. Holding onto the gun holds so much more value than throwing it into the wind. A singular kill coming out from a bonus round, but it's a bonus. They will be able to rebuy.
Well, that's exactly it. Look, if you've got the operator, you want to go for that save, of course, especially with your teammates still having those credits to bounce back into the next one, approach this as a unit. But this is where it all went wrong. Mini was caught in that corner. They were wise enough on NRG to put the drone out, sensing that they'd lost that mid space, that maybe it had been stolen away. But the fact that his wall perfectly...
Let's do the same round.
The same round, that's going to be tough. You're going to push up in mid again? But it was that wall, blocks a flash, leaves him with an opening. He gets two for it and gets out. Great work by Mini early on and by Mates to put the first on the board. NRG, like you said, they've got that buy still around the operator. Just going to be a danger. That shot connected. Yeah. Starzo's on 15.
A little bit lucky maybe to be alive, but the wall has done the work. And actually the defense already going for a massive rotation back towards the A site. Realizing their leader is wounded, but he's not stopped pushing. And considering how much ground he's already got, it's surprising that they're still there. There you go. Now the defense will rotate back again. Their ag.al has got them all the information, but in the meantime, NRG have just been sitting pretty, and I'll be honest with you, I think Starzo's dead to rights. Yeah, he tries to swing and get anything he can, but it's Kiko to shut him down.
And they're going to immediately look to explore the other side of the map. NRG find that pick, maybe assume that you've lost such deep A main control that the rotates would come in, but take a look at Mate's position. Still ready for this garage push, still with two towards the C site. Bippo at least managed to find the first, but it was just the ultimate, so numbers still there for NRG. But the man flying under the radar in the corner, it's Martin! He's given them some hope, a chance, but it's Mini who has to convert that to a reality, a 1 versus 2. No chance to deny that plant.
It's been good so far. But in the clutch, it's going to be difficult. Well, he knows where Scuba is, that's for sure, but the operator is holding. Kiko hasn't missed a beat so far. And that'll be 3-1 in favor of NRG.
Perhaps a prediction of the future scoreline. We saw it earlier. But this is it. Martin does so well from that corner, but they chipped away at the numbers early on. NRG finding two. Although not for free, it was the ult of Phoenix traded out, and of course, keeping the numbers favorable meant even with Martin stepping up in a big way, it wasn't quite big enough. You hear there a call. I don't know if that was a reactionary, if there is a timeout coming from Mates, but it wouldn't be the strangest thing to see it this early on.
No, I think a lot of what's sort of troublesome for them early is you have a defensive setup that does revolve around you being a little bit aggressive. Like their double duelist isn't the best at just sitting in corners and waiting to be pushed. The problem is they are struggling to deal with Kiko's operator. Like he has managed to not only hit Starzo twice within the first 30 seconds or so of the round, but then also shut down the pushback into the site and find another pick elsewhere. If he's going to be informed today, he is probably the most terrifying player on the server, which is saying a lot considering Martin's recent form. I say recent, it's been the whole year. But you do feel that in this sort of matchup, you're going to need a little bit more than one man.
All set up.
But thus far, they haven't been too far away.
was early from mates. Now on the defense, they see pressure again across the map. NRG upping the pace this time compared to before. Mates already on the rotate into the C site. And on the way, they've lost Mini. He was trying to quickly get back. They needed reinforcements.
Spike down, C.
Well, at least for now, it's only going to be the one-man disadvantage, but with the plan coming through, the weapons what they are, seems like success is written in the stars for NRG. It's a very close position for Ethan. It's risky up against that lower buy-in, and now there's going to be a rifle recovered in the hands of Starzo, and an even 3v3 to play.
It seems like they're going to buy time, though. A lot of time being bought, in fact, for Scuba. Brock's found one with the ultimate, and just look at the wraparound that's coming in from behind. He TP'd to the other side of the map, but it might not even be relevant. Brock has already managed to couple with utility, and now Prox doesn't even know that he's already dead to rights. Scuba had him locked in. It was 3 for Prox on the round, but the round is still NRG's.
After the timeout, not much changing. NRG continuing on in this form, and for Gentlemates, the crowd loud as can be every moment, every flash in the pan. It'll be the full buy rounds where things do start to take a turn for the better, you would hope. Right now, NRG seeming like they've got the solution. They were playing these slightly slower rounds, now moving to a much more direct approach, quickly making their way through Garage. Pulling those rotates from Mini, who wanted to be by the sides of his buddies, but is sent in the other direction. Now Hunter's Fury is a panic right away. May see a bit of contact here, a bit of presence towards A long. They pop an ultimate, damage found for it at least. It's somewhat of an upside. But I do feel like for this attacking side, they're looking at this as they've got all that control early. They're causing these reactions quite quickly out of the defenders. And as a result, they run for a fake here. This is perfect.
Yeah, the ruse has worked wonderfully. Counter paranoia. They still believe that there are members about to put pressure on towards this A site, and instead the B site is completely under their control now. At least in Mini's case, he still has an ultimate to play with to maybe try and get them back in. And in fact, if they re-aggress too far, there is a player just watching that cross, but never mind, Marta's won that kill anyway. Even still, trade back from Starzo keeps things level, and with Brock so desperately low, they're only just making their way towards the C side. And Ethan knows he's got to try and play a little bit aggressive, but the wallbangs have actually done even more damage. Oh, Brock now looking to try and hold the line. Mini's come through with another, and he's even doing everything, it seems, with the ultimate, but they still have to watch out for Scuba again in that backline. He's been a problem wrapping around, but he needs to get one of these kills immediately, and Mini is just too much at the moment. 4 for the duelist. And he will give another round to mates.
Yes, sir!
4-2. The defensive side looking to try and build off this one, but
Let's play.
NRG have been pretty good at finding a response. The 2 rounds that mates have managed to win have been purely off the back of Mini, but this one will at least start with the death of Kiko. He's been a problem for them so far.
Cover going out.
And he's not looking to try and re-aggress or fight too much more. Now bear in mind, the only ultimate currently online is in the hands of Ethan. And it seems once again, that C site will be open for business. Does at least mean that the defensive side have an opportunity to try and fight this one back. Ethan already low on HP. Marta trying to ult to shut somebody down. He's at least buying additional time, and he does get rid of Mini. brings things back into a 4v4 scenario. And make sure he's at least healthy for this fight. The Molotov buys them extra time. In fact, Scuba has put another on the body pile for the mates. They are running out of time to get back in here. Armada with another kill in this round. In fact, he's looking to take over. 3 in quick succession. And Beepo is nowhere near the action. The attack side respond immediately. Look to extend that scoreline even further. And those singular rounds, those blips on the radar, well, that's what they look like. All they are blips. As mates are still yet to string any rounds together.
Why can it's so... I can't hear the crowd. Wait, what?
This is what we're talking about, though. This was the sort of thing where it's like, if you can silence that crowd,
Scanning ahead.
it starts to build up the confidence of NRG. And the defensive side, again, desperately needing a response, but already a few pieces missing from their puzzle in this one.
Let's see if they can find those pieces, put them together for mates. Beepo starting to show up, the rifle in his hands doing work, and it looks like they'll keep the trades in a decent position, ready for this TP up around the back. They might be worried that he's crossed, but Kiko seems to be trained in. He knows exactly what's at play, but he wasn't ready for Starzo. Sneaking his way through short, leaving Brock alone and putting him in the ground. Mates, 3 players alive. They're starting to put rounds together. They're starting to wake up.
It's just whether or not, though, that is another flash in pan. That has been the problem for mates so far. Some individual brilliance, no doubt, but NRG seem to have had the response almost every time. That was a big one, though. Like having a round where economically you weren't in the best position and coming out on top is definitely going to help them out quite a bit. And the fact is, in recent form, it seems like both of these teams have been better in the second half. The defensive rounds coming up for the side of NRG when they played against KC, and then on the other side of things, it was the attack rounds coming up for mates.
You said about silence in the crowd, Tom. It didn't last very long. They're right back, drumming away in the background. The flags are flying high yet again, and that's the big difference, I have to say.
It was Maddo who said it, not me. Like, don't throw that out me.
That's the thing, though. For NRG, you know, I think back to Paris and back to Champs, there were definitely, it was definitely clearly a crowd that wasn't rooting for them. I will say, I don't think it was quite as in your face as what we're seeing here.
Well, mates and KC weren't there. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know, those are the ones that really have the dedication. At least in Valorant. We'll see tomorrow. Vitality will be playing. If they can get this sort of crowd going, I'll be interested. Ethan already under a little bit of pressure early on. Of course, this was the pause taken. Maybe a little bit wary that the mates might be starting to awaken. And Mini has been the man to watch, and you can see why. He's not really been missing thus far.
Solid connection to open things up. Starzo might have been traded out a little bit low, but down to 17 HP. The man advantage sticks now with the defense for how long? Kiko's been a menace. And the faster hits, picking them off as they cross B. It's something that they'll be aware of on the side of Gentlemates. The time ticks away, and when pressure's put on, they might start to think that maybe he's moved. Maybe Kiko's part of this push, but he's the reserves. They're going to use a wall to cross, but still one tucked in that corner. Starzo, 17 HP, and they haven't cleared him. The wall got in his way, but it doesn't seem to work in the favor of NRG. Not bad to bait Starzo out into that swing. 5v3, and he goes looking.
Time, though. Oh, okay, never mind. Ethan on 3 HP has managed to find another. This is starting to get a little bit wary. This is looking like a done deal. Ethan's managed to find another, but the time was ticking away, and Martin back on the board, back on the server. Well, even after the pause, mates have managed to diminish that lead and put themselves just one behind.
It's a number of rounds now. Mates starting to feel confident, build up that momentum. We had the timeout into a mixed buy, and even the one after it didn't seem to matter that much. NRG uninterrupted in their early pace, but now starting to face some serious opposition. No timeout from that attacking side. They will continue on this run. 5 on the board already. It's about the momentum of the others. It's about those B picks not working in their favor anymore. They try there to fake towards the A side to pull those rotations, and even though they get Martin off site, there was an extra layer there for the mates to play with. Now there's a reveal in play. Martin knows someone's right up close to spam, coming desperately close to taking down 2, but everyone's still drawing breath for the attacking side. The B site theirs, and they look now to brawl deep, fighting into the numbers. They don't know quite how many mates were there, but Starzo's got a friend hiding right behind, not for long. NRG scrapped their way back into this, and even with Prox finding one, the numbers are against him.
Use him into a 1v2 scenario. It's going to be tough to break back in. Look at how passive the positioning is, and also the fact that that Hunter's Fury is available to try and weed either of these players out of position. It is going to be nigh on impossible. Like, you have to bait that ult. You have to hope that the bait is taken. And in a mistake, and that might just be it. Brook goes down, leaving it down to just one, and he's in the smoke as well! But he's going to make it 5-5. It seemed like that round genuinely was a done deal. I thought that we'd see the ultimate come through, but maybe just feeling like they were able to close it out without a bit of a gamble taken. And well, I guess at least Brock will have it for the next round, but ultimately, I'm not sure if that was worth it.
Quite possibly not. No, I think that's going to be heavily debated after for about 2 seconds. 5-5 scoreline. For Gentlemates, a chance to take the lead at the halftime now. To forget those first few rounds that started to slip away and didn't really stop for a while. NRG seeing the wind exit their sails. They pump the brakes, they look for a slower round, but this time the mates aren't sitting back passive on B, instead looking for the pick just outside. Mini gets it and gets out, and a clean advantage to play with on the defense.
God, I think it was a few rounds ago. We saw the pause taken by NRG. We saw Marder even earlier than that saying that I don't hear the crowd anymore, and ever since then it started to go against them. With 30 seconds left, they now go walking into what is the lesser stacked site. It's only going to be one man defending it. The kill trip has been removed, and they will get the site for free. Bebo was just playing for that kill trip up in the heavens. Minido's a little bit ahead of the play, and in fact, maybe going to try and make a move. They are. They're going to move ahead of it. Hunter's Fury sets him up. No blunders come in. NRG haven't been able to get the spike down. They just have to run for the hills. That's 6 for mates already guaranteed.
You rarely ever see a round like that where the team's denied the plant that late, where they are pushed back, allowed to fall back to the mains, to flee the site with 3. Gentlemates went from being deactivated, from losing so many of these first couple rounds, from us wondering how long will the crowd keep on cheering? If NRG keep on finding rounds, well, this has very much changed as time has gone on. Mates with full command over this 5 of the last 6. And at least neck and neck, that chance to lead at the half now looking like a likelihood.
Yeah, that Hunter's Fury is still available for Brock. I wouldn't be surprised if we see
Enemy mark.
it used in that execution, but at least for now it's patient. I also see Mini with that overdrive, and in the retakes, that has been a menace. In fact, again, it's not a retake, it's a pre-take. They're going ahead of the curve once again. This time the spike at least has been planted, but well, it doesn't seem like they're going to last long. 3 players remaining already for the side of NRG, but Kiko's still fighting back. A couple of low players, Kiko does his best, but now Brock is all that remains. 17 HP, a nice first shot, and a player tag low. A shock dart that won't quite kill anybody off, and the spike is already halved. It's incredibly close, but Beepo's there to save the day from a mass deficit. Whoa, mates now have the lead.
It came down to the wire, but Gentlemates, they get it done across the line by 2 at the halftime. And for NRG, that's gotta feel deflating. A 5-2 score line, a lot of success for this squad in those first couple of rounds, and everything that was working for them has been completely shut down by the mates. Mini as well, stepping up to the plate in a big way towards the end, leading by example, and you love to see this. The home crowd getting exactly what they wanted.
Nonetheless, I don't know if there's going to be a mass amount of them in the arena today, but let's go down to Ian with some NA fans.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Gentlemates getting off to a cracking start here. The fans absolutely loving it. We're talking a lot about the French fans, but this is EWC. It's a global event. We've got fans from all over the world showing up and showing out for the teams that they are supporting, and back in here at the STC Arena. And we've got some American fans in the building.
USA! USA! USA!
Straight in with a USA chant, and you can hear the boos in the background. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex, where are you from?
California, Los Angeles.
He's from California, and you are in hostile territory right now, of course. The French fans do not want you guys to win. Do you think you can bring this map back?
I don't know about this map, but you know, we gotta try.
What about you? What's your name?
Nick.
Hey, Nick. You guys are obviously wearing Cloud9 jerseys, not NRG, but you're just supporting whichever American team is on stage, correct?
Yes, sir, of course.
So tell me how far you've traveled to be here, and how does it feel to be in Paris at the Esports World Cup?
I traveled from SF, San Francisco, and California. It was a long travel, but it's been worth it.
Have you got a message for the Gentlemates fans right now?
We're coming back.
What about you?
This is going to be one hell of a second half.
I want to end this with some more boos. Can I get another USA chant, guys?
USA! 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 USA!
Love it. All right, let's get right back into map 1 and see where we go from here.
Well, Ian Chambers might be with them, but I'll tell you what, the fans most certainly are.
He wasn't with them. He was hiding his face. He's trying to get himself out of there, the coward. No, I can't blame him. We need to get those guys some security. That's a bold thing to do, a USA chant in the middle of the Gentlemates fans. But hey, you got to respect it. You got to respect it. The fact is, though, you know, in the early rounds, they probably felt quite confident. 6-2 in the lead, but sorry, 5-2. And then mates got 5 in a row. Mini, Martin, and in fact the whole squad stepping up, and now onto the defense. This is, I would say, both teams' stronger half. And a lot of that, again, is going to be on Kiko. Those walkabouts, those aggressive pushes. But in this round, at least, pressure on Ethan.
Stunned to start. Certainly avoided what was a big danger with players grouped up and ready to blitz on in the end. Mates will just use this as a chance to take the orb and explore the rest of the map. A slow start. It did seem like they wanted to make it a bit more pacey towards that C site. Now they find it wide open. The pump fake has worked. Mini's just been spotted. I don't think he realized that he was seen, and they noticed him moving towards garage now. Starting to put the pieces together, perhaps. The hit into the C side comes in with a man disadvantage for mates. NRG more than content to play the retake.
Spike planted.
Post-plant hold. Clearly expected to be aggressive. Like, I'm seeing Rourke all the way back towards spawn, just watching for them to push up. Maybe worried about a pop flash that could be put into play. Even still, though, the paranoia hasn't really got them the space they wanted. In fact, Martin's managed to even things up. Waiting for Kiko to make his move. Instead, it's Marder to do the work. Give them that advantage back. A complete blind onto Starzo, and now Beepo is all that remains. Seeming like an impossible clutch and a stellar retake from NRG. What was looking like a tough round for them ended up seeming quite easy.
And it could be important looking at that first half. So many of the rounds coming from the pistol, coming from the first 6 or 8 rounds. Early success for NRG when they're trailing. The utmost importance. Amada as well, finding so many of those picks. I think the defuse
Let's go, boys.
incredibly close to a run it back for NRG. And DD got the defuse as well, 2 away. Farming up those orbs in this round going to be fairly easy. I mean, worst case scenario, he gets 1 if he dies. So the buy round will carry a lot of weight to it. Weak buy for mates, but they try to play this a bit more direct, and they've got a lot of space for their trouble. NRG, in fact, having to give up, use a lot of that utility on Ethan just to get him out, and somehow they lost Scuba? I was going to say they did a great job to not give anything away, and they lose what is an easy fight up in heaven.
That's 1 player down. Already the potential spams, though. And Odin in the second round is rare. Unless you're up against Brock, in which case you should be expecting it. Shot dart to the site. Won't find much, but the weaponry advantage is crazy. Nothing was garnered up, and the judge is going to clear out under with no problem. Prox again does well, but now Beepo is all that remains. And no surprise, the retake ends up being quite comfortable. An even scoreline now for NRG. They're back in the second half.
Yeah, as much as they were the early half warriors in that first half, you definitely know that this is a squad that can run away with things if given that momentum, if given that time. Already seeing one of the big headaches. I suppose 2 of the big headaches. Yeah. We talked a lot about the judge and the neon nerfs, how you won't see it quite as much anymore, but he's the man who has been known to pull it out here and there. But Brock's the main big boy here with the big old Odin. 15-7 at the moment. This is his half as well. This is where he's going to be the biggest annoyance that you've played against.
Better know your angles, that's all I'll say. Definitely still quite a lot of vulnerabilities, though. NRG in this round. Saying that, though, Marder in the corner. He's not going to be checked. That's as free as it can be. Not the way you want to start off a round like this. Dozens going back for more. That is dangerous. You know there's a judge in that corner. And then the molly comes through just afterwards. He's able to survive. Martin also tagged, needs to fall back. But it seems like the plan was to maybe go back in that direction anyway. Mini has been holding on that side. Kiko also able to retrieve a rifle, so what was a much weaker round ends up with 3 rifles on either side.
What? Nice shot by Martin. Brock to the big danger we said, but evidently not. Now the Phoenix ult for Martin looking very tempting in this 3v3, but the spike's already moving towards the site, so if used, it'll be post-plant.
The site now cleared. The remaining players looking for retake.
30
now,
seconds
Ethan's
left.
position with this SMG is a danger. This fight is going to be important, and already Mini tagged desperately low. Martin getting aggressive, but it's expected for. He's 8 punched initially, but he still takes down Ethan. A 3rd already, and then his teammate rebuilds the space! And Mini manages both! It looked like for a moment that would get dangerous. But M&M, the Mini and Martin show, are going to keep them in that round.
Well, it especially looked dangerous with the plant position. They planted for backside.
Look at this.
And then tried to fight. That's ridiculous.
It's like he knew he was about to jump.
They tried to fight into the spawn, and with Mini being tagged so low, they had to give it up. That looked like a big danger because Where else do you defend that spike from?
So.
And one shot from the side for Martin, it gave them an opportunity, but that was a crazy closeout by Mini. Around it, even though it was a 3v2, it was in danger. 2 players tagged low.
Yeah, it's a bonus as round. You have to remember that on the NRG side. Like, that was
Joke's
one
over.
ready for this one. Already a shutdown. And not a bad trade. Get rid of the ult. Counter used on the other side for Marder, but I don't think he's going to find anyone on his route towards the remaining attackers. Mini waiting on the edge of the smoke. And the early trade out ends even.
Mates to move slowly back in the other direction. NRG have given up this entire side of the map, but they're running out of info on the defensive side. They haven't seen any contact for quite a while. They're poking and prodding A long. They swing out and see nothing there. Yeah, now the realization is setting in for NRG that this is no longer an A play. The trap and a player still holding B, no walkthrough on Garage. Yes, NRG realize it's a C take. They realize it before the push comes in, but they don't get here on time. The plant undeniable. The position of Mini maybe a little deeper than they expect at this point. It doesn't matter. Good work by Scuba. Give them the advantage, and NRG are so patient. They back out immediately saying, we've got the man advantage, we've got time. Let's play this together.
Not wanting to risk giving a freebie away. Still quite an aggressive hold from that attack side. That might be their undoing. Paranoia is sublime, but Prox just about holds on. Another one for Bebo, in fact, and now they're starting to fight this back. A low HP player, but it doesn't seem to mean too much. And the Kiko, the time already gone. A nice shot onto Prox, but he has no choice but to flee the scene. An opportunity for NRG, but even still, mates are not giving it up.
Bebo has been quiet so far, very quiet so far in this game. But he chose a big moment to activate, putting a big round on the board for the side of mates, getting a little bit more confident as well. And when you look at this from the perspective of NRG on the run back through, 2 players to deal with. They spread out decently, they looked for those trades. The timing a little bit off, sure. But they didn't expect those players to still be on the site. They thought they'd take a little bit more of a safe haven. They'd play towards long, that the smoke that they put down would make things awkward. Bebo ahead of it. Stands and greets them, a confident stance for a man that really wasn't connecting up until this moment.
That's the second pause, right? That's what it looks like at least.
And it's put the pressure on to NRG clearly.
Yeah, I think it's a good moment to take one, because I think you look at that sort of round and go, you get your advantage with the paranoia, and then the rest of it just slips away. You give opportunities to the likes of Bebo. And I'll be brutally honest, if you go back to watching EMEA, watching him play Duelist, I was very critical of this man. I don't think it suited him on that role. But the swap between him and Mini, I never expected it to work that well. Like Mini is a player who's been exceptional on the Sentinel, and I looked at that and went, are you cutting off your own arm to spite your face? Like it seemed super silly.
Right here.
But it is working out for the squad. 9 and 7. Only Kiko's operator remains into this round. And it looks like a much more direct hit from the mates.
It looks that way for sure. Is it though? They ran in, immediately turned back, and now start shift walking up. If you're NRG, you've got to be perplexed by what you're facing.
Ruse.
They made this look like a ruse, so plain as day, that NRG have already left the site, and now they just walk back in. That's an outrageous play to even attempt, but they've lost Bebo. Sending a lurk like this up against the pistols is a mistake, and one that mates have just paid for.
They've got to be careful. NRG might have let that last retake slip, but now with the man advantage, weaponry being retrieved. Opportunities there, but Marder a little bit ahead of the curve. Him going in, nice shot from Mini, but Scuba might have just gone better. 3 already. Dart has to be shot. They now know that Starzo's in an aggressive position. He's about to find info himself, but Scuba's there again. one man left to deal with, every single one revealed, but it is irrelevant, even with a singular gun in the round and then one picked up off the corpse of Beepo. That's enough for NRG to get themselves back in.
Yeah, it just looks like a small bit of a mistake from the side of Mates. I love the idea. Faking out towards that site was genius, and it worked wonderfully. But when you play that lurk up against an eco, there's always a risk, and
that's nasty, though.
That was exactly the risk that was taken. Indeed, as you said, though, a nasty round from Scuba.
To get two players, one elevated on the box, like, that's insanity. Like, I almost now feel a little bit bad for Mates watching that back and going, how has he hit both of those shots in such quick succession? But look at the damage it's done.
Cover going out.
It was NRG coming into the last round with a singular operator, which it got one kill. Now, we see the ultimate coming through the overdrive, attempting to try and pad the gap to what is a weaker purchase, and as of right now, it's not done the trick.
I know.
Even still, though, early trades, and Martin keeps things level. Another opportunity for a plant.
Looks like they'll have it. Deciding to give the orb over to Martin. He'll now be one away from a run it back.
Look at Starzo as well.
Very late flank attempted. This squad sent Prox and Beepo. Beepo with a buddy this time to play that garage control. And they know that Beepo's towards the site. They'll see it soon. The cam activated. Beepo gonna show some tail. Buying time. That's his game, but he's failed at it. Falling with just one. Now the defuse possibly underway as Martin's gonna be blinded up. Starzo gets one with a backstab, and it's huge! It faked out the Hunter's Fury to pull them off the defuse. He finds them with the backstab and now runs the clock all the way down! Starzo with a surreal play puts Mates up to 10.
It's funny, you think it's going to be the kills that end up winning the round for Starzo, but in fact, a singular kill and then the constant doubt in the back of Brock's mind. I thought for a second that we might even see the run it back out from Martin, but clearly had a lot of faith in his ag.al to close this one out.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, either it was the most unfortunate timing misclick of all time, or he activated the Hunter's Fury to put it away immediately so they think, well, he's long as well.
Yeah.
Obviously he's long. Such a big gambit to take, but what a payoff for Starzo. And honestly, of all the players, he is the guy I expect to make that kind of play. He's unhinged in the best possible way.
As I said at the beginning, there might be players on the Mates side that will hear this crowd and take it as pressure. Starzo is not one of those players. Starzo will hear that crowd roar and ask them to do it again. Even still, though, the purchase up.
I have the spike.
For NRG is not a bad one. They've got some ults to help them out. They got the judge of Ethan, which certainly hasn't been bad so far. And well, you look at the position he's sitting in, you think it's going to be great. But the major danger is going to be Kiko in this corner.
And that's exactly why. He's got one. Brock's there with the double tap onto Beepo, and Kiko in for more. He's hungry and they keep on feeding him. Mates finally, with a retort of their own, they find a pick. But so much more is needed for this to become a workable round yet again. The molly, a small bit of damage onto Kiko. With 12 seconds left, but to be fair though, they will actually get the plant out of this.
10 seconds left.
A cross is not being covered, I think, by Scuba. Best he could do is spot it.
One enemy remaining.
And yeah, well, that's about how it should end. Well handled by Scuba. 10-9 now. NRG not letting this map slip without a bit of a fight at least.
Oh no, for sure. I think after the pause, it looked like they cleaned up a lot of the mess. They seem to be coming in on those retakes, and I think the combination in this round's wonderful. Use the Hunter's Fury, but at the same time, that's when we see the peak out from Kiko. And it's safe to say you set this man up for success, and he's normally the one that delivers. Even still, though, an opportunity. The the last opportunity, I believe, for the mates to talk this one through. But safe to say we're in a pause when Kundi's rattling off commands like that.
Yeah, it's good to see that there's a lot of ideas there for mates. Again, thinking back on some of the rounds they've had, some nice plans, some small bumps in the road presented along the way. Think about the plan for the back spawn with the deep play in from Mini. Think in particular about the anti-eco late lurk through that they attempted with Beepo bringing them a rifle, giving NRG the chance to fight back. And I think that's going to be the most important thing for mates now, is to not give opportunities away. Harder to do it in a round like this. Pistols across the board. But the attack side's been doing well when it comes to these pistols in terms of getting boots on the ground. It looks like a much more direct play is going to be attempted. All the pressure mounting onto Brock. He has got that Odin to work with, and the spam already has put Mini down to 14 HP.
It's not the start you were hoping for with the man who normally looks to break the eye line. Marder also already filling in the space. It seems like they've got a good idea of what's about to happen. Not the prettiest of sprays, but it gets the job done. In fact, the pressure really starting to build. However, Brock is there to support, covering fire. And a nice shot on one. And what if Starzo had the spike here, we might be calling proper old school strats, but he doesn't. And you can already see that Kiko is well aware of where his opponent has come from. Doesn't hit the shot, but that's fine.
Starzo knew that they'd be watching that. Went out wide to dodge the first, but can't dodge that second burst. The shot sent his way for NRG. The game far from over, as after the pause, and after the eco after the pause, mates are about to be put to the test. This round, not one that I'm going to be too worried about losing typically. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have that run it back on Martin for the next, which I think is going to be the key to open the lock that is the defensive side from NRG so far.
We'll see.
But this damage has been there from Brock. The start of the last round, he lit Mini down to 14 HP. This time he puts him on 68. Starzo stripped of shields as well. Great early round by Brock, shooting a wall.
Yeah, he is just one of the best players, but maybe one of the worst humans. The way he plays the game, it really is. It's painful to watch what he's able to do, and already that running back has been denied within half of a second. It seems like they're going to try and put the pressure on, but with the running back coming through from the opposing side, they opt to scurry away, get themselves into the post plant on the B site. And well, all that running back has found is that they are no longer A.
Yeah, I do think that was probably the idea from NRG early on, just to bait out that ultimate, get rid of some of the big dangers, and now maybe have an easier time. The tap already there, it's going to get utility on the other side. Reveal having to be thrown through. Another tap now as Mata takes down Starzo, all the while waiting for Scuba to strike from the shadows on the sidelines. Numbers fading as Scuba steps forward and finds out that there's plenty looking his way. Kiko, that smoke should count him out of the round already. It should make this impossible. And although he'll still attempt it, the camera might just have bought enough time. It's another round for Beepo. He might not be at the top of the scoreboard, but he is certainly bringing them home the important rounds.
Yeah, he did exactly what he needed to do in that moment. Just stayed alive. His teammate sacrificed his life, and it did seem like, with how quick mates were to react, that maybe even after they threw in their running back and their opponents threw in theirs, they were actually fairly prepared to go back towards B and give it all up, expecting there to be a bit of a stack up on that side of the map. Of course, for NRG, this isn't going to hamper them too much going into this round. Operator still on hand and looking like a quicker pace take. I wonder if the defenders will almost retreat off this one. They have done in the past, but no. They're actually running back in to try and fight and brawl, and that's worked out. Two quick kills for the defenders.
I think mates almost expected them to play that bit more passive. For NRG, the more aggressive stance, well, the reward tangible here as Prox is left alone. He's going to use the ult. Going to be caught by the trip, sure, but that'll have no real effect other than confirming he's on this side of the map. A plant found. but his reposition will be everything. They will look to play this together on NRG. And up in the hands of Ethan, who is just the trailblazer, trying to spot this player out, trying to find Prox, but the smoke forces him forward. Nice isolation on the first. Nice shot through the smoke, and it's just one man left.
He let go.
Defuse not being stuck. Prox believes that it won't be this time either. It's a good read, but this could be where he's pulled into the fight. Prox with an unbelievable clutch. Gentlemates have a chance to close out this map.
We talk about, I think it was talked about on the desk, the redemption arc of Starzo, but I think the more poignant redemption arc is that of Prox. A man that was a mate, a man that was left to the curb, was replaced. But sometimes your old friends are the best ones, and bringing him back into this roster for this moment alone, it might be enough to immortalize him as a mate for life. An insane clutch to take them to map point, and all momentum has to be with Gentlemates now. Trying to put the pressure on, the overdrive popped for Mini, but he's taking his time. Forcing them out of the site. Hunter's Fury as they're boxed in. That's Kiko gone. Looking for a little bit more, but even still, with the plant coming in, the advantage is firmly with Gentlemates.
Anything but gentle as they look to pull this across the line. 2 chances, but this the best of them. A man advantage already, and Mini, it's a nasty play! The judge up close! They didn't see it coming! 13 to 10, Gentlemates! They start this series out with success, and the crowd goes wild!
Massively impressive victory. Both pistols, both second rounds went in the other direction. Each half had to be a fight back from the Gentlemates. But the fact is, they have shown that resilience already. We were worried that maybe the crowd would end up...
They're not looking good for the North American outfit. As I said earlier, the only NA versus EMEA matchup in the quarterfinals. Will NRG bounce back, or will it be to the sword by the hand of Gentlemates? Let's send it on over to Tom and Mitch.
Thank you, Degon. It is indeed time to find out if this story ends in a 2-0 fashion, or if NRG can take us all the way to 3. That is right. Last year's world champions having to defend their run here at EWC very early on as Gentlemates pushed them to the limit on Haven and took the dub there. Now we move to Ascent. And this is somewhere that mates should feel fairly confident they can knock it across the line.
Well, yeah, the fact is, you look at the sort of recent results, last 3 months, 4-1 for the mates, 0-4 on the other side. But very close matchups. Martin already, though, kicking things off with a bang. An aggressive take in towards, in fact, might have gone through, trying to play into the opponent's utility. He gets one, gets traded, and Mini adds another. It leaves just Scuba. A 1v4. We've already seen the Omen on the other side pull off miracles, but this might have to be the best one yet.
Coming in from heaven. He finds himself in a hellscape. His mates sit back in main with 3 players, giving them no chances to pick them off one at a time. Martin in the corners, the one that's really in trouble, and well, he's pushing forward, so no signs of weakness from Gentlemates in the pistol round. That's a 1-0 start. As we said, when you look across at NRG in the last map, yes, it was incredibly close, but if you take out those good starts to the halves, it's a very different game. Now mates step in here, their map choice, and they look incredibly good in the pistol.
It would be an insane day of VALORANT to see the key of the 2025 champions get crushed and the key of the EWC title holders get crushed in the same day. Like that would be manic. And I think it would be foolish to count NRG out of this matchup just yet because of the caliber of players they have. But if you're talking about current form, this tournament, qualifiers, Mates might just have the edge. In this round, expectations fairly low for the side of NRG. They don't have much to play with. I think the initial headhunter shot not connecting, but, you know, Scuba's managed to get one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Bebo. You think about the last time that you remember this happening, Bebo had a rifle, and it was recovered by NRG. This time he had a ghost, so a little bit more acceptable that he's the man that's out there playing that late roll through mid. For Mates, they don't want to lose anyone else. They have some SMGs in play at least, so the margin for error.
Martin's already got his ult though, so you kind of go, yeah, give him a rifle, let him not be super aggressive, which will be weird for someone playing Phoenix, and maybe let someone like Mini farm up some of those orbs. Instead, he's the one going for it.
I like this idea, you know, they put presence in B main, then go for that wraparound so that the exit comes in a different position. And then you can try catch him off. Try pick a player or two. That doesn't work out. Martin finding the kill, as you said. The orb, not going to matter all too much with the ult already on, but it's all about that stat line. It's all about confidence.
I feel like those are first world problems. Oh no, he's already got his ult, so that's not going to do too much. Yeah. Phoenix ult going into this next round could be a difference maker, and I think it is going to be important for NRG to break back early. Sure, they will tell you, they will say it in interviews, they will even say it in the comms that this crowd isn't going to affect them, but I think it's safe to say there were moments of magic from the Mates in the last map that maybe, just maybe, you can give the crowd a little bit of credit for.
Whether the crowd affects them or not, it's the players opposite them that I'm most worried about, because you're not going to have a chance to make Mates feel dejected, feel out of this. If they have the lead and you're coming back every round, that crowd's going to be by their side. Crossfire in play inside of main. NRG, nobody steps forward. Instead, they send bullets to do their work. The spam, leaving Martin and Prox in a less than favorable position. Look at this walk up by Starzo. He's going to try to cut the rotates off while they put pressure on the other side of the map. I like the idea, and it looks like he has at least one player coming his way, but Mata has found him.
The ult fades away. Mini's taken some control, might be able to get him from behind, but it's only going to be the trade. Rourke with that Odin once again was a menace in the last, and he looks to be once more a shutdown of the remaining players. 4 stand tall for NRG, and what was a bonus that had some rifles, had the run it back. They do quite well there.
Well, yeah, in fact, they dealt with the lower weapons in a worse way than they did with the heavier ones, right? You see these weaker weapons at least find the picks, and now I'm worried because it's a 4v3, but they're facing off against the rifles that remain. That's where the real damage should come in for Mates. And yet NRG washed them away with ease. That was a very strong retake. A good sign for their defense early on. But the follow-up round, no weaknesses for Gentlemates. Good spot on the drone. Not going to allow Mata to fly under the radar. But it is a full buy now on the attack side, and a chance to continue extending that lead.
I do think it's worth mentioning as well that although this is
careful
4 defeats in a row for NRG, I'd argue that maybe the one versus Vitality shouldn't have been the case. 16-14 defeat that took Sayonara having a mammoth performance. And one man that matched him was Mata. Mini though, what a start to this round. Desperately low on HP, and Ethan, I feel like Ethan's almost sat there going, I should have this kill by now. And finally, will clear his opposing duelist, but then Starzo's in on a late lurk. The lurking Sova, not the classic of what you'd expect. Will there be the trade? No. Oh, he didn't go back for more.
Spike planted.
They took so long there that NRG started to think that that was clearly a fake. I mean, why else would you have one man making all that noise, nobody following up? Nice spam off the back of the reveal. Now it's blind fire from Brock, but big damage onto Beppo already. Needs that pick desperately as they're already a man down. That pulls us back to even the tap now. Starzo should be forced into the open, forced into the Odin, as the defuse is already making it to half, but Martin snuck his way up close. They were so worried about Starzo, and they thought that Beepo was the only one underneath. Martin was able to thread the needle and find a big play.
But that's the thing. I feel like Martin is one of those people that's cool in and out of the server. Like most people, when they see that tap, start to panic. They start to worry that, okay, I need to run, I need to make a move. Instead, he just walks out, knows that if he clears Brock, his teammate can swing, and that was played to perfection. Like, clever stuff on his target selection. Well, 3-1 lead. Of course, the last round was nice and clean, so other than Kiko, it's a fall by, but just remember, a singular kill off that Headhunter, and he's got himself an off.
That's a lot of damage delivered onto Starzo. For both of the Phoenixes on the server here, one away from the run it back. Mates may be the ones to make the best use of that. And typically you'll talk about farming orbs. You'll talk about taking the extremities of the map and holding F. Well, it's a little different for Martin. Tip of the spear on that initial mid-entry, and well, he's trying to hold left click to grab his orbs. Fortunately, Starzo on 25 ain't gonna last long against that judge.
And well, as you heard, if you want to play, let's play. Tour de Force Online. An operator now into the hands of Kiko. 35 seconds left, and it looked like the plan was to make their way through spawn. You can see the constant adaptations from the defenders maneuvering into position. Even Scuba in aggressive position at top mid. They are trapped, they are surrounded. And even a paranoia to slow them down through the wall. They have been boxed in by NRG. Nowhere to go for Mini and Martin. And with the credits a little bit low on their side, they have no choice but to just hold on to the weaponry. Both players not too far from an ultimate, so even just picking up an orb in the next round could be enough for a Blade Storm. And for NRG, a solid recovery after losing that last round.
Yeah, I really like this setup here. Like, the idea to just play much more passive, having the chamber utility covering off B main, allowing them to go all the way up because the door is closed in market, containing the fight with the crossfire. That was one of the things we noticed when Ethan's playing so passive outside of B. They've got, I believe it was Kiko, covering from the spawn. And really, this all just comes down to the majority of the team boxing those players in, not giving them a safe space to fight out. If they Phoenix Flash, we Phoenix Flash back. We keep them contained. And Scuba walks his way up into that empty space that they'd seen at the start of the round and has a perfect flank there to make even the fallback uncomfortable, to mean that the player looking for space on short has to go alone. And now, well, not bad of a start with pistols. That's an insane bit of re-aggression from Scuba, but it's because everybody is pushing here. NRG see some aggression from pistols and run it down towards them. A really confident stance taken in the anti-eco.
I like it. Like, I feel like there have been some moments where maybe they played a little bit frightened in scenarios where they shouldn't have done. We even saw in the last map some of the aggression they had that was massively successful. And I think this one was almost just a stamp out of that attack inside. Sure, a pick or two goes the other direction, but ultimately they come out of that one with 3 players alive. But we now look to the mates for a response. An operator in hand once again for Kiko, but it's the blades for Mini.
Blade Storm for Mini, running back as well for Martin. And of course, it's already put in. This is a full-on execute of the B side. They want everything.
They don't have Spike.
He left on the table. The late flank coming through from Mata could completely change this round, but Bebo wins the fight, recovers the spike, and they can take this where they like. And the initial fight gets them control of B, but getting the spike in there is going to be difficult now as smokes start to fade. The cage on the cross, but Bebo,
he made it.
I mean, just about 40 HP, but okay, plan secured for mates.
It's definitely not the prettiest execute I've ever seen, but they've got the job done. Post plant, Ethan spotted, an aggressive, aggressive position coming through, and in fact, they're all going to aggress. Anything you can do, I can do better, the mates. They played this post plant as a push. And And Kiko is left with no choice but to hold on to the weaponry. No opportunity to fight this one back, but definitely a moment or two in that middle where I was like, if that spike gets caught by Marta, this round is over.
Oh yeah, a kill onto Bebo there, and the round is done. And you can say that in two ways as well. When he crosses with the cage, that could have been a real issue. But he manages to keep that round alive in both skill checks, passed with flying colors. And the lead now for Gentlemates as they pass NRG on the scoreline. And again, that early success has been there for NRG. They've been good when it comes to the start of the map. This should do. But in the later rounds, when the rifles are out, mates are the ones that are taking the majority. It was the case on Haven. They started slow in both halves, and they ended up 13-10 in the lead by the time we closed it out. That was with NRG having players like Brock, I think, was steaming in that first half. He was on fire, but...
It's safe to say he's showing why he's considered a specialist. Kiko is going walkabouts, but he's got to be careful. There's a flash ready for Martin, but he's not seen anything just yet. A little bit too much shown, and he might lose his life. It seems like a whole goal, in fact, for Mates. It's just a jump spot, some of these more aggressive positions, but Kiko hasn't been forced to give anything up just yet, so they can gamble up a little bit more on the site stack.
Flash in from Mata. He's heard two around that corner. Still, the rotates don't come in. Still, Kiko sits patiently waiting on mid. Bebo looks for that late space, and I think he wants it. It's all going to come down to timing. Whether he gets picked off rip. Here comes the push towards the site. Kiko patient in mid. He's on the site itself. The wall used by Mata to fall back to buy time. Hunter's Fury seeking these players, but Mates dominating in every fight so far. It's only Scuba. And he doesn't even feel that he has a chance. A 1 versus 5 that will never be attempted.
Unless they forget to plant.
Well, let's hope.
I think that's the only way that he could have won that round, just by surviving, but no. Eventually they'll get the job done, and that momentum starting to build for the Gentlemates once again. For Scuba, credits aren't too bad. I think he wanted to try and make that costly, but he failed to do so. A team ace for Gentlemates. Once again, starting to climb themselves further into the lead. It's also worth noting that the closer matchup we saw, or even again, both the closer games that we've seen on this map, for the side of NRG, was an 8-4 defensive half versus Vitality. They struggled to close it over the line in regulation on the attack, and thus were not able to take that victory versus Vitality. I think they know that this defensive half is going to be an important one, so already we're going to see that pause. The fact is, though, the best they can hope for here is going to be 7.
I've spoken that round a lot about Bebo and the late play. Spoke about it in the first map as well. Like, Gentlemates win it, but he has a really rough map individually, round to round. But his peaks, his moments where he showed up, it was 2Ks and 3Ks that won crucial rounds. For him here as well, he does a fantastic job. The millisecond that Kiko looked away from the angle, the second Kiko said, I'm going to check down mid and just double check no one's there, outswings Bebo and catches him off guard. He's getting that timing now in the mid round, starting to feel that space. His team hits one side, and he can control the other side of the map. Last time, we saw that confidence start to fade. We saw him play less risky. Now we can start to see him come into his own a little bit. It was a big pickup at the previous to take out who is often a big player for that squad. Again, Bebo's left on the other side of the map, playing towards that B side, containing the aggression there, stopping the quicker rotations through middle, while Gentlemates set their sights firmly on the A side.
I like that he's moved his trip as well. They were using shot darts early to get rid of the deeper trip that he was putting down, so he's just got it there for security. Still has to keep an eye on that position, of course. but it means that they can comfortably say they haven't lost too much ground. Even still, though, this is looking like the potential for another ruse. They love to do this on the mate side, of almost sell this as, okay, we're going one way and then start doubling back in the other. That's exactly what they're doing. But with 40 seconds left, the middle play coming in isn't actually the play. Again, they're going to double back towards the other side of the map. They're looking to just play with their opponents, and now left with just one defender on this A side of the map, and they know where he is.
Oh, Ethan's done really well. The shock dart eaten towards the end, but a 3 versus 3.
That's not bad.
That's way better than it looked like it would be. Now for Martin, a single pick. And this round becomes very, very difficult for NRG. That ultimate is online. Just one more. The spams to start, not landing for Brock. Up goes the wall. Ethan's being caught by a counter paranoia though. Brock's keeping them back, buying time. That's exactly what NRG want. Time to keep on ticking. Kiko in prime position. With 3 kills under his belt, there is still hope for NRG. Martin, the only man standing in their way, trying to run the clock down. But it's enough remaining for NRG's defuse for a 4th on the board. And you see exactly why it was so important that Prox took Kiko down the round before. He is the reason that NRG find 4 here.
Not only does he clear the man in the middle, but then that late flank. This is the problem when you're up against a player like Brock. He forces you to play unorthodox positions in your post plant, and 2 players standing on the right side of that generator is not something you'd normally expect. And the reason is because if someone flanks, you're in serious trouble. And they did think of it. They had Prox watching that position, but watching it and winning a duel versus Kiko could be a very different story.
Take flight.
The defense have found their response after the pause. You're still going to have that ultimate play. Kiko, an opportunity. You'd almost expect him to get that opener with how he played in the last round, but luckily for Mini, he'll get to tell the tale.
You have to think maybe Kiko's even realizing, right? Prox found me in the previous, or sorry, Bebo found me in the previous round. He'll still play that lurk. He's feeling that late round impact. It was a big pickup from Kiko. This time in mid, he'll be given nothing. The 3-man push-up from NRG late too, in fact. As they realize a hit must be coming in somewhere. It's time to get ahead of it. Early flank attempted from both directions. Now they hear the noise towards the B site. Very early flank by Mata. He is right on the trip, and now they've got to double back. They've got to, because the ult is going to pull him in. But Prox finds the fight. Ethan there to back him up, though. Makes this uncomfortable. Mini with the door closed, has a 1v1 isolated for a moment, for a second, but now that door swings open, and Ethan, landing his shot, has equalized, has put NRG back up to neck and neck, back up to 5.
No, I think that was what was talked about in the pause. Are they just playing scared? Are they just allowing their opponents too much space? And since then, they've done anything but constant flanks, constant pressure, putting mates in a box in the last couple of rounds. And you can see it from Martin's perspective. Not only is he almost caught by the first flank, but it's almost a scramble to stop him getting caught at all.
I was going to say for mates, I do think that this is something they can fix easily, though. Bebo playing that little bit more passive in terms of flank protection. And ultimately, the pushes have worked. When it comes down to playing direct or getting on the site, it's the late round space that they're being punished in. Now Bebo plays more passively towards spawn, but on the push itself, a problem. Kiko, with the tour de force, lands himself the opening, takes down Mini, and although you'll find a plant, NRG are happy for the retake with a man advantage.
Yeah, and now that flank had to be given up. Needing to play this one as a squad. No ultimates
planted
for that attack side to play with, whereas the run it back can be utilized. Looking to try and find a target. There goes Marta. Nice re-aggression though. In fact, both finding a couple of shots, but even still the trade's coming back. The defenders just swarming the remainder, and now Bippo, there's no chance in this round. He needs to try and find something with the spams, but they will defuse in front of his nose. In fact, even taking the time to make sure they get the right person on that defusal. Confident stuff from NRG. And from looking like they were maybe even out of this series, that's a streak of rounds post-pause that puts them in the lead.
And you notice the difference here? Nobody from NRG goes for the flank. No one's pushing mid. No one's doing anything except for grouping and looking for the retake together. They don't need to in this round. They've already exposed those weaknesses. What do you think mates are going to fix? Those weaknesses. Even before they lost a man, the plan was for Beepo to come and play with the team because they need those trips. They need that information more than they need his lurk potential. And so, NRG don't even try. They play against the retake heads up, and they win the duel 6-5, and a chance for the lead at the half.
Yeah, felt like a necessary lead, as said, versus Vitality.
Revealing area.
Far better on this defense. Even still, though, the post-plant seems guaranteed, and they are hunting for Beepo once again. They're looking to try and find them, but this time he's in a much deeper position. That passive spot, but will he play a part in this round? Eventually, he's going to have to make his move, maybe waiting for that door to be broken before putting pressure on counter flashes to try and slow them down as he is swarming from behind, but it's the first kill to go away to the defense. The second alongside it, they need to find a responder, and it's not going their way. It is NRG cleaning up again with ease. 4 players will stand in a 5v5 retake.
That's 2 in a row as well towards that A site for NRG, finishing out this half with great success. It looks like they found that adaptation. 4 in a row overall. And the A site retakes clean as can be, not losing players to those lurks when attempted by mates. The success that was there early on certainly started to fade towards the end, and although this is mates' map pick,
it means nothing.
It really, it looks like for NRG, they'll be going into the next half with the upper hand.
They're looking comfortable now. You could see that Bonkart was getting irate in that pause, not seeing the team that he had trained. He had prepared for these sort of moments.
Again!
And
wow,
from then onwards,
who would have thought? Easy to retake.
There was another retake scenario once more. Let's go down to Lou with the fans.
And it's a familiar face for the Gentlemates fan. Un visage que vous connaissez évidemment. Il tweet beaucoup, trop, je pense. Mais c'est Asgar qui est à mes côtés. Asgar, merci d'être là. Je voulais d'abord te demander, on sait que ça n'a pas toujours été facile pour Gentlemates sur Valorant. Cette année, vous cassez tout. Qu'est-ce que ça te fait de pouvoir être là avec tous les fans et soutenir votre équipe comme ça, direct sur la scène?
Bah forcément, Valo, c'est le jeu sur lequel on a commencé. Donc trop heureux d'enfin performer à ce niveau-là sur le devant de la scène. Et là, on a une vraie chance d'aller chercher une très grosse perf, peut-être la meilleure perf pour la structure. Donc c'est trop cool.
C'est que du kiff, effectivement. So why does it matter to you Gentlemates fans to be able to cheer for your team here in Paris? It hasn't been always easy for us, indeed, and it's just such an honor and a pleasure to be here and to cheer for them. We can get also a big performance, and that's all we wish you, of course. Ensuite, je voulais te demander, vous faites que de crier, vous faites que des chants. Qu'est-ce qui fait que les fans Gentlemates sont si spéciaux, si incroyables?
Bah là, on est à la maison, forcément. Ici, c'est Paris. Et donc, trop heureux de pouvoir crier pour des joueurs qu'on voit pas forcément toute l'année. Moi, j'ai eu la chance d'aller à Berlin. Et là, forcément, de pouvoir les voir devant ce public, etc., c'est trop cool de chanter tous ensemble. C'est un régal. C'est une vraie fête.
What makes us special is that, you know, we never give up. We always cheer up for them. I got to watch them also in Berlin. And it's always just such a nice experience to be around them. Et je pense qu'on va pouvoir peut-être repartir en game avec un chant. Gentle!
Ouais. Gentle!
Gentle, gentle, gentle! And back to the game.
Thank you, Lou. Well, the Gentlemates fans still feeling like they've got a shot at this, trailing by 2 as we get into the second half. NRG, former world champions indeed, currently defending when it comes to the end of the year. They're certainly being pushed to the limits. No strangers to playing in Paris up against the crowd. This time, though, they're a little bit louder, a little bit more rowdy than before.
Well, this map's already feeling like a flip of the last. Well, you mentioned it. It was the early starts that came through for NRG and then Mates fighting back. This was the opposite. Mates got the early start, NRG fighting back. And well, a pistol in this round for NRG might be enough to put them too far out of sight. We call that one the Yassine dash. Not seen one of those for a while, but even still, the defenders will extend their lead growing. Scuba and Brock. Let's say this is going to be a tough post plant.
Spike planted.
Another pistol for Mates would put them even. It's not time to give up just yet. Brock playing the flank, needs to speed up, and he knows it. A little bit late to the party, but he's caught one. A little bit more doable, but Scuba caught in the corner. Never stood a chance. Brock spamming away with the classic. He's at least found one, but too many bodies left to deal with there. Gentlemates will find themselves a defuse in a 7-6 scoreline.
Yeah, an important pistol, it feels like. I think you're on the NRG side, you might be a little bit more wary. That attack side has been a bit tough for them as of recent, but his composition with Neon, Phoenix, at least gives them opportunities. And I think even just the potential for openers out from Kiko, who has been very good in this matchup so far. But then for Mates, their defensive side versus Nongshim was, well, something to be impressed by. 9-3 the last time out. They don't need so many this time around. But that pistol is definitely going to help them out.
Well, a pacey attempt from NRG right into the A side. Utility waits for them, and plenty of lead flying in their direction. Nothing returned as Martin seals the deal on a flawless round. Gentlemates equalizing early on, and now with a big moneymaker round behind them, they look to be in prime position to take the lead.
I'm curious once we get back in to see how many orbs that Martin ended up with. Unfortunately, I think his teammates did a bit too much of a good job of holding down the line on the site, so he's not quite going to have that running back online.
Let's go! Nice, guys. Guys, insane.
But he might be able to earn it up in this bonus. Of course, still having some rifles to play with, but definitely some weaker weaponry that NRG will be coming up against. But even still, look at the double stack up in middle. It's a bit of a peculiar crossfire to be seen. And I wonder if it's something that will even be predicted by the opponents.
So they see one man run away. At this point, they'd usually be fairly confident that position is cut off. They're going to smoke it anyway, so no chance for Mates to pounce. Of course, understandably, I think at this point, Mates are expecting a bit more of a direct attack from NRG. You saw it in the previous. It was very quick and very clear. No fighting on the extremities for those orbs. Instead, Mada's looking for them up close. The cam for Beepo. Sadly, Ethan gets in that corner a little too quick. Martin with a chance to pull it back, but it's a big punish for NRG.
Both of them managed to dodge the flash. Nice work with the paranoia from Prox, but it's only going to be the one. Jump up, though. Timing couldn't be worse. That allows Mini another pick, but even still, the post plant cannot be denied. The question now comes down to damage. NRG from this point onwards wouldn't really want to lose too many more players, otherwise it would be a costly round versus a bonus. And wow, that one's all too easy. Starzo not expecting anybody to be that close. And although Mini's hoping to find a free upgrade, there isn't one on offer.
Yeah, he's resigned himself to just picking them off as they look to leave the site. Finding those exits. The paranoia is going to make that a bit awkward to do.
Oh,
nice
maybe not!
By Mini! Well, he's got himself the upgrade and he's out of there. Although he might be hunted down. Scuba. Now he's going to concede it. Great round by Mini. That's a lot of damage. Even if he doesn't get out with the rifle, that's a success.
Oh, for sure. That shouldn't have been a moment where they get out with less than 3. I think even predicting it, having the paranoia, but maybe so wary of being peeked from heaven that they just get caught on the cross.
Enemy kill.
Round at least has still gone the way
One enemy remaining.
of NRG, but yeah, it is not a comfortable one, and you can see again frustration for Bonka. It's mistakes like that that could end up costing them. They do still have a bye for this round at least, but they'll be left bare bones if they're unable to win this round. That shock that was nasty.
That was a lot of damage.
Going up.
It looks like NRG plays wall up. Ult popped as well to run it back from Mata. He's going to lead the charge. Being caught by the reveal, but Starzo takes the player behind him, a kill that will stand the test of time, but oh, it gets risky. Luckily, Starzo survives, and the trade from Beepo at least keep things even for now. That flash just about gave Martin enough time to correct, and he'll even find another with an ult online. Finding the position to use this from is the first problem, but the solution found easily. Back towards market.
Is it worth the risk?
It has to be.
Get this wrong, and maybe he can be caught, but he's just playing it slow, biding his time. Gonna make sure his opponent isn't aggressive, jump in at the last second, but he's not seeing anything. Dart's gonna hold him in place, at least for the moment, but this feels like a game of chicken. Who can get closer? Timing almost works out, but the Spanish do damage. It doesn't matter. It never matters when it's Martin. He'll close the round out, and he'll put the NRG economy in the dirt.
I don't know how he got away with that. I love the idea. Brock, such an annoying player. So of course, he decides to play it slow on the ultimate. Make sure that no matter what, that player cannot run all the way to market and catch him off. So that works out to start with, but it's an ult burned up for what is ultimately just a heal. That heal ends up saving his life as he survives on 13 or so. A big round from Martin, played the margins. And in the end, success with Gentlemates finding that. It could have been the chance for NRG, as you said, to launch themselves into this half. Instead, they're really backed against the wall. They put everything into that, not even talking credits. I do mean credits, but also they used the run it back, for example, from Mata just to get in, and that still only got them to a 3v3.
Yeah, I want to take us back to that conversation about Martin, though. The guy has gone in at the beginning of the year, played 2 best-of-5s in 2 days where he broke a best-of-5 record for EMEA, then broke a best-of-5 global record. And then he's come into this tournament and is currently, or at least was at the beginning of the day, the 2nd highest rated player. The 3rd was actually Starzo, who also had a lights-out group stage.
Revealing area.
He has had a phenomenal year already. And if they can make their way in towards that semi-final, it would be a massive step forward for them as an organization. This round, though, maybe seemed like an easy one, but with Kiko having himself the sniper, there is danger.
Oh, Starzo spamming, and he has no idea the players had already passed.
They got 2 outlaws now.
NRG with man advantage weaponry now to work around. Not the best of it, of course, but even those pistols. Bandit can be passed over. Ethan can have something to work with if he makes it to his buddies. 45 on the clock when they go to push, or even less. Still to get through that utility from Beepo, some kill trips. If they come cascading down, even with the smokes they'll have for the cross. It's a lot of danger that they don't know about just yet, but that is if Beepo's still alive.
He is the orb. Oh, that's such important spam from Martin. That was the overdrive that was picked up by Ethan. That's why he went all the way back round. Now with 12 seconds left on the clock, Beepo could be the nightmare in the darkness. Somebody needs to get that planted, and all he has to do is try and drop that spike, and he wins the round for his team, but Kiko's guarding! He's waiting! He found the perfect position to deny. And now Prox, not the right gun for this moment. A stinger retrieved. Oh, well, there's no way he gets past this angle. What a round from Kiko. That was a solo outlaw brought in, and he's able to do so much damage.
I'm in 2 minds about it, Tom. The smoke that went down, the smoke that gave the cover for that plant to come in was their smoke. But it also meant that Beepo could turtle a little bit better. He could try to run the clock down. Really, it just comes down to what they decide to do around that smoke. And Kiko made the perfect decision tucking in and
so
punishing the walk around. That player could have easily stepped deeper into Boathouse and killed the planter and won the round. But Kiko can't cover two angles at once. He takes it, flips the coin, and it lands it right where it needs to for NRG to still have a heartbeat here. Mates would have been running away with it, and instead a very low buy round. And they make it work.
Oh, you can see it in your picture now. The key that every team looks to protect. We saw Heretics lose theirs earlier in the day. The team that got to keep theirs safe all the way through last year and place it into the VALORANT trophy with 3 crushed keys beneath. And well, if NRG lose this map, I wouldn't be surprised if someone looks to claim theirs. I'd like to put that on the bottom of a trophy. You could take the champions winner from last year and place it in a trophy of your own. But I'm sure there'll be an org or two that wants the mates one just as much. And NRG might be that team.
I don't know whether you'd want it more than you'd want to crush it in front of this crowd. I'll tell you what, that's what Ethan wants. That's what Mata wants. For NRG, the lead now theirs. This and another map needed to send home the hometown heroes, the favorites of the fans here in Paris. Bladestorm from Mini. He's been spotted, but he's looking for a little bit more, and he will find his reward, but not without a hefty price tag.
Yeah, if you can get that kill and get away, maybe you start to worry for NRG, but then you look at the rest of what's on the table, and we're going to do it again. We're looking at Martin. How much can he do? Kiko waiting.
What?
Okay, it would have been a house on him to win that fight. That's an unarmored Beepo with a with a classic.
With his 8th kill.
That's just 2-tapped a guy that had an outlaw. That didn't make a lot of sense, but hey.
30 seconds left.
No weaponry retrieved. The players on this side of the map not with much, and the one weapon is now gone, but who knows what's going to happen from here. Beepo, he's in a great position again. He just gets another with the classic. And now Prox is hiding. Surely they expect, like, this is such a peculiar smoke to have down. They have to be watching for it. He hits the dink, and he leaves players low. They still haven't got the plant in. If he manages to deny, he might just win the round. The shutdown will do the work, but the kill had already come in from Brock. The crowd even erupts because they think he's won the round.
If he'd gotten away there, he would have.
It would have.
A double bounce, perhaps from a safe position in a different round, unfolds, but still, what insane damage. Great performance from Beepo. The first kill was straight BS. Not that the right click for the second wasn't.
Oh my God, that is so close.
Oh, even Ethan got worried there.
The 2-time himself. You've made him nervous. 10-8 though. No round is given. Every round is earned.
Spike down.
That's why NRG are learning today, but they are still in the lead. Beepo's done well, but escaping? No, he has no intentions of escaping. He wants to do this on his own. He's still going. He's had enough. Beepo's taking over and leaves just Ethan. It's a Beepo round. It's a 9 for mates. And I'll be honest, that was the duelist in him coming back out on the cypher.
From 0 to hero, Beepo. He started this game out with a crawl, but my God, he's standing tall on both feet now. He has hit his pace. It was Kiko in almost all of the fights so far. Somehow that's my head-to-head, my takeaway from this map. And he doesn't just deliver the head of the duelist on the other side. Delivers the whole pack. 10-9.
What a round.
NRG, tour de force, run it back. Everything committed here to defend their lead, and they'll get the A site for free.
I like this. You have a round where one guy wipes you out. The logic from the other side is, well, they're not going to do that again. And that's exactly what they do. They do that again. But bear in mind, the mates also have a running back, so they are happy to play retake. Also, take a look at where Marder is on the map. He's going for a late lurk as that duelist. Here goes Martin, counter utility being expended to try and slow him down, but try as you might, slowing him down is difficult. Even still though, it's Scuba in the smoke, and a cleanup. The flank slowly coming in, but it might not be needed. Mini's done well. They know there's another player under there, but dealing with him is a different story. Ethan with 3, and an immediate response from NRG.
Yeah, the much more direct route. We saw this towards the end of, I think it was the first half of map 1. They start to feel like the way to break through mates is to stop playing the map and instead just play one side, play more direct, one part of the map, and fight them for that control. The heads-up duels here working out, but it's this position. Scuba has to keep them back, right? The whole idea is Mada's coming on the flank, delay them. The smoke is hopefully there to do that. And Scuba tries to make it uncomfortable, but picking off 2 pretty much ended the round.
That's a good read as well. I think that's the main thing from my perspective is you go, okay, they're not expecting us to do that again. Let's double up. Let's go straight back into the A site. One player managed to do the damage in the last round. That will not happen again. And you could see that mates were very heavily focused on a mid-fight. They were ready for their opponents to maybe be a little bit slower, be a little bit less direct. Like, they're going to take their time in this round because of what we just did. But it is that battle of the brains. Ethan with the experience. But the fact is, we are in the presence of greatness. We have got 2 champions-winning IGLs facing off against each other. I don't think Starzo was IGL when he won, but we ignore that. We ignore that because it doesn't sound quite as nice.
Who was?
A man with the 3K.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
We miss you, bro. We miss you.
There's different stories about that, but 11-9 for NRG. The lead, there's a big round in the previous, sets them up. I mean, at this point, they are teed up. They're on the green. Just got to tap it in. There's a few dangers. 2 judges bought up by mates. A Guardian in the hands of Martin, but no big ultis to save them. No Blade Storm there. No run it back for Martin to be an annoyance. So NRG, I like this late round. They've looked for a bit of map control. They've looked for a fight. They've seen nothing. And now you start to think, okay, there's either one big trap with a big stack being set somewhere, or there's many traps along the way. Regardless, they've got a drone to clear out their troubles. They should be using it, but instead they're going up contact.
Okay.
Luckily, Mada's quick on the trigger.
Yeah. I guess if you can do that, that also works very well.
Cover going out.
Oh, I think most of the danger of this round should be gone. Mada is just taking out every judge that's in their way. That's supposed to be dangerous, but he makes it look incredibly easy. While 12 looks inevitable. Not much to play with. Mada with another. That's his 3rd already in this round. He is halfway back to having to run it back online. And for Martin and Bepo, there almost has to be a question of how much do we want to risk him getting his ult? Evidently they do.
Oh, that risk not paying off for mates. Orbs being gifted, and look who's running it down to try to close this out. They're leaving it. They're leaving it for Mana. But Kiko finally had to pull the trigger. Still, a big round for NRG, a big round from Mada. And for Gentlemates, well, that spark of hope now being snuffed out in this round. It is obviously somewhere that for this squad, they'll come into the next looking to invest everything. That was buy what you can, leave some traps, as we said. The judges can be scary, but NRG didn't look intimidated for even a second. They didn't even use the utility to clear corners. They just sent Mada in.
No, and that is that's what you want to see from him. It wasn't the greatest of games thus far, but they are firmly in the lead. Mini, this is a spicy spot. The flash could leave him in trouble. The dash activated. Spidey senses tingling, but they've lost both picks. A crossfire of that deadly double duelist decimated within the first few seconds of the round. And well, it seems like the curse of winning both pistols might be the curse that comes through in this map. Not something I ever expected to say out loud, but evidently both teams needing to be on the back foot in order to show their true potential, and just look at the patience from NRG. Now, there is a timing caught by Beepo. The second they look away is when he strikes, and there's one. Not quite able to get the second, but he's at least made it interesting.
Beepo's 15 now. That pick put him positive after a really slow start. In the corner here, Stars. Oh, he had a chance, but Ethan running circles around him, but now caught by the trip, will be deleted by Beepo. The everyman hero on this squad. Prox with a wonderful wall bang, but he'll be left alone. They have to come his way. 15 seconds, and the plant needing to be found here and now. A jump in from Scuba, locks in the map. We're going all the way to 3 as NRG refuse to falter.
Well, we might be two of the people that are alone in this thought, but I'm very happy to see a third map coming up. It's been a banger of a game so far. NRG having to show the same.
Have enough cover to make sure that your team can scale and clear the right angles. Playing against that Viper is going to be a little bit scary, especially when Lotus for NRG has been so good.
It has been such a close matchup between these two squads. 13-10 in the first map, 13-9 in the second. There has not been a lot between them, but we know one thing for sure. One team's key will be crushed by the end of this map. NRG and Gentlemates go into the breach one more time, and we send it on over to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you, Degon. NRG bounce back on map number 2, and we're all the way to Lotus as a result. The question, whose key shall be crushed? And the answer will be with us soon. Barriers up, and away they go towards this A site. Mata already spotting some contact, and NRG will concede the space.
Yeah, this is a map where NRG, I almost expected them to pick it. I'll be brutally honest with you. Over the last 3 months, they are 11-2. This has been their best map. It's been a strong map, no doubt. And it's going to be up to the mates to prove that they're still in this matchup. Already damage going left and right, but it's Ethan to come up with a couple. In fact, a flurry of frags in a matter of seconds, and it's NRG to come out on top. A pistol. There's been a curse rather than a gift in this matchup, but I don't think they're going to mind taking it.
No, I don't think they're going to mind whatsoever. This is a team that started out on the first map, finding the pistol and a bit of success, couldn't quite keep that pace going, and maybe it would have been even more dominant if the shoe was on the other foot. As you said, somewhat of a curse, both teams that take pistols. When they take them, they lose the map.
Someone clip that.
Kiko clearly feels like it's a good sign to have 1-0 on the board.
Have you seen the thing where people put people's sound onto like a Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
I think that would be a great fit.
A pterodactyl roaring up above the trees. That's what I just heard. Kiko certainly has the lungs for it. NRG, this buy it's a decent investment. A lot of Bulldogs and an Ares in play.
You love an Ares.
Oh, you know me. It's a shame to see Brock degrading himself by putting himself down to that weapon, but when the Bulldog can do that, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course. Already, though. Strong conversion. The Mates fans certainly haven't gone anywhere just yet, but I think they're going to be feeling pressure on that stage, wanting to get to play in front of this crowd at least one more time, potentially two, depending how far they can go. I think even for Mates, making a semi-final would be a pretty big deal, whereas for NRG, it's a regular occurrence. This is a squad that knows how to get there, knows how to win, and certainly will have the wind in their sails after the last map. It's going to be up to Mates to change the story that's currently unfolding.
Oh, the drums in the deep, in the depth of the crowd, spurring Gentlemates on. They might not be able to hear much, but I'll tell you, they can feel that beat in their chest.
I certainly can.
And how long will it continue to pipe up? They were waiting for this moment. You lose the pistol, you expect the second to go that way, but now, in with the full buy. Mada, 2 away from a showstopper as he takes control over A main. Not sure if he has the orb already. I think he does. Left the last round 3 away. So that space now can be left a little bit later. Mates look to fill it in. The Mini, I think, to run a similar fake to what we've seen before. It was massively successful
30 seconds
on the previous map, but they are running out of time.
Yeah, I think Porte might have the info already, though. That's the problem. Yeah, they're running back to the other side of the map. 20 seconds post-farm looking likely, but Marta's now cleared out Mini. A man advantage in the bonus round, and if Ethan can time this right, he might be able to cause them some issues, or just hold on to ground. I think the main man to watch again will be Beepo, though. A position that might not necessarily be expected with everybody else so deep, but they clear him with ease. Marta on form already. That's a showstopper into the bonus, his 3rd kill of the round. And for Starzo and Prox, an impossible task that needs to be mounted, otherwise they are falling like flies. Marta already with 4. It might not be the ace, okay. A flash in the pan for Prox, but it is just a flash in a round that again goes NRG's way.
Yeah, he has had some rounds like that. Desperately close. Prox can't get it across the line for Gentlemates. It will be a round lost. And that deep reveal was so important that came through from Ethan. It cleared every other angle, so Mata comes out already checking Beepo. There's no reason not to.
Those are some crazy
That's
shots.
ridiculous. The 2nd and the 3rd, but not enough to make a difference here. Not enough to stop those rounds. Getting onto the board for NRG, the current world champions, forcing another pause out of Gentlemates. This is the first early on, though. Coming out of round 3, you see your opponent's pause and you know your boot's on their neck.
Yeah, I think this is one of those moments where it's less about overall strategy and less about even what happened in that round, more about picking the team out of the dumps. You go in after map number 1, lose both pistols, win the map on your opponent's choice. You go into your map choice, you feel incredibly comfortable. Your opponents over the last 3 months are 0 and 4 on the map. You win both pistols and still lose. Now it becomes a different game. It becomes a mental game. An opportunity to have a crowd wholeheartedly on your side. And the fact is, NRG are dealing with all of that pressure. They are lapping it up. They are building into this half, and with Marta already 7 and 2 after just 3 rounds, maybe that pause was needed.
Well, Mata spotting that info as well towards A main. It's not just the kills that he found on the retake, but he got the boys in position. They were aware of Mini's attempted fake towards the C side. They caught him walking through B because of that information. Now mates try to adapt by fighting for that space early on the low buy, and it has done wonders for them. 4v4 in the post plant, about as good as you could hope for it to get. But the weapon's still vastly favored towards NRG.
Yeah, you're hearing Odin firing off when you have 1 HP. You start to get a little bit nervous. And that's ultimately what Brock is trying to do. He's trying to section them out of angles that they can hold. Beepo, already low, needs to get aggressive and is caught. Nice shot from Martin, but it's only the 1. Again, bear in mind, Prox is on his last legs and will fall. And now Starzo is in the same position. Odds of winning almost 0, and Marta's reaction shot is sublime. It's a defusal for NRG. Another round on under their belt, and I want to point out Marta's already halfway back to having that showstopper again.
Continuing that momentum on. It's had a number of big rounds to give him those orbs. And here, the last round, you know, I'll put it down to the jump spot in A main. The util from Ethan on the way through made the tip of the spear much easier to point in the right direction. But here, it comes down to individuals.
Boom, baby!
NRG used their util to clear out some spaces. You see, like on the way back into tree, there's the C's for the back tree, like that, fair enough. But every single fight was mates being in a position where they could trade blows, and yet NRG are the only ones connecting knuckles to jaw. Right now, mates 4-0 down. They had a chance to close this out 2-0. It looked possible. But now they need to prove that they have a chance here. It's nothing but NRG success.
No, it's nothing but Marder. He's hitting nothing but net. Every single shot seems to be turning to gold. Even the one on Testazo there leaves him low. It feels like
Satchel out.
the mates need a hero to arise to bring them back from the depths. They've got themselves an ult to play with again. Martin's a one and done. Do they throw in the Nightfall here? Oh, they don't have a choice anymore. They've already lost the player, and because of that, the Nightfall goes back the other way. And a nice attempt from Prox, but it's only the one. And left out to just Beepo, but he's brought it back. A chance. The spam not quite connected, but he gets there in the end. A hero risen from the darkest of places. And Gentlemates are on the board.
Now that's something I didn't know I'd get to see. A crowd chanting Beepo's name. A man who came in, a lot of eyes on him on this roster and not a lot with a positive note to say about him. But here he is. In this series alone, he's had so many rounds where he has been the one to put the numbers on the board. He stepped up towards the end of Ascent. At a point, dragged a terrible performance into positive territory. He's been doing the work. The first round for Mates comes off his back. Scuba standing his ground. At least trades out one, and it's an advantage for the defense, advantage for NRG. And it looks to be getting even better. Martin down to half.
Oh, and again, Marder, give him a shot. Guarantee a kill. Nice Prox back in response. Now he does have the TP available, but he would have to abandon his teammate Beepo trying to hold the line, but he is caught by Kiko instead. And this is the moment, just opting out, wanting to try and reset. But the fact is, NRG have already cleared C. They know exactly where this player has put that spike down. A reposition. But Ethan seems well aware of it. Just waiting to clear this man together. Needs a couple of crispy shots, and Brock is just too quick around the other side of the door. They didn't give him a hope in hell of winning out that round. It is a blip. And then right back to winning ways for NRG.
And keep in mind, it was Gentlemates with a pause. Coming out of round 3, they tried to run a fake towards the C site. It didn't work, they got red. And from the second that the first fight went down on that B site and Mini slid in to see 3 players there, they realized that they had been red. This time around, it's NRG towards that A main position where in the same round I was just referencing, they had all the info because of the jump peek from Mata, because they were being given that space early. Well, now they see their opponents fight for it, and so they step back. Ethan plays towards the stairs. They have Scuba in the tree, and they're ready to pounce the second that the push comes in. Unlucky, I think, for Mates that they use their showstopper and it ends up being needed as a trade. They didn't think someone would be standing as close to the door when it was broken open. But this level of success is very worrying to see for NRG early on. With a low buy here for Mates, it should be 6-1.
Yeah, that was the one gun they had. Stars at least will be able to retrieve it, but the Marder show continues. It's safe to say that you go back to London, even some of the earlier games in this tournament, and he wasn't lighting the world on fire. Especially in London, it was Kiko having to drag them kicking and screaming, but when this man is on, he is a terrifying force to be reckoned with. And he's been nothing short of perfection so far in this map.
I'll find you.
For the Mates in this round, yeah, sure, you've got a Nightfall, but will you want to use it? I think especially not now. They are being wiped out. They're being stomped on by the giant that is NRG.
Last player standing.
Yeah, blips on the radar, but they quickly fade to black.
Blippo.
Blippo. Oh, goodness. There's no need for the guy. The guy's having a good series.
No, that's what I mean. He won the round, so for them, it was a Blippo. I think that's a fantastic pun that you're not giving enough credit to.
I'm just saying, people start calling him Flippo all of a sudden. It's going to be on you. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm here saying he's a great guy. He's doing his job. I like him.
I agree.
And I will say he's a player I've liked seeing grow on this roster as well. I understand the criticism that came his way towards the start of his tenure, but I don't think it's justified anymore.
It's been a good role swap.
Yeah.
But is there more left to show? 6-1 down. Mini also struggling. Martin not quite had one of those highlights. And honestly, like, Prox is the one that's chugging along, but a lot of those kills haven't held much value just yet. A more direct taken towards that C site, and already Brock has taken out Starzone.
Just the immediate ult popped as well.
Okay.
And he's died through the smoke. Quite a shot by Prox. He's quietly chugging along, you said, and well, that is certainly something. Deep sight take for the blast packs, they've made it in.
I know exactly where you are.
The info there off the back of it, NRG have to just hide. Plant should be found. The question is, do mates get greedy and go pushing forward? They don't really have anywhere to fight from at the moment. And with the showstopper likely to come towards them on the retake, NRG are playing this very passive, I believe, for that exact reason. They needed to show some presence. Okay, the showstoppers popped early, but they're being contained, and that shot from Mata is pixel perfect. Prox, I think, caught. No, he made it through the door. He's able to at least provide a bit of support for Bebo, and it's going to be needed. Never mind! Bebo! The silent assassin of this squad! He goes quiet, but my God, he chooses his moments!
They currently have 2 rounds on the board, and both of them a courtesy of this man right here. He's trying to drag the team kicking and screaming through some of these rounds, and there has to be someone else to step up alongside him. NRG are still firmly in the lead, but can this be the catalyst of a resurgence? They look to hit this site fast once again, at least bait out the wall. And an early TP back, counter Nightfalls against each other. But the fact is, at least for now, the attack has got the site. The plant yet to come in, though.
Here we go.
They're biding their time. Oh, nice shot by Mini. Straight through the smoke with the finger guns. Kiko and Mata, all that remains for NRG, and it's a very late flank that Mata's attempting, but he's blast packed up and over. They were too far away to hear it. He is hot on their heels, but they check it. They check it just in time. Spidey senses tingling, and it's Mini connecting the shot that makes this almost an impossibility. As solid as Kiko has been, his kryptonite of Bebo is alive on the other side, and with 2 more to take down alongside his nemesis, and 4 HP left. There's no choice left. It is time to run for the hills, to flee the site, and give another round to Gentlemates. They are getting there slowly, but surely, making their way back into this game.
I'll be honest, at 6-1 down, I thought they were about to go out with a whimper. Like, I thought this was going to be a game that we go, hey, map 1 and 2, fairly close. Each side winning their opponent's map choice. And then NRG showed why they have trophies in their cabinet and why mates are yet to get there. But these last couple of rounds, Bebo being the hero, and then going for that more direct hit once again, calling the bluff of their opposition, even running through while having a Nightfall hitting them. And now that economy that was built up over a set of rounds is starting to diminish. Even still, though, there is still a purchase on the board.
3 rounds in it for NRG, a Viper's Pit to work around. See that rotation from Scuba towards this side. A lot of presence being put here. Feels like mates are trying to bait out at least the utility. At least get rid of.
It doesn't.
Well, Brock is put down. That door, the position of the spike, it looks like will swing open. The B site would be the ultimate target, and it is wide open. This rotation has been dragged in, and with no wall here, they are just walking through that space.
that's the cue. That's the moment they know they've lost the site. That's where Starzo started running as well. They wanted to make sure the utility was gone, but I love it from Mates. They put themselves with a backstab, a perfect backstab, in fact. Martin taking space, but they got to be careful. They can't forget about the way towards the broken door. Starzo caught as well. Brock has managed to put this into an advantage, and this is problematic now. Nowhere really for them to hold on to ground. Mini's done well. Re-aggressing was important. Scuba, watching that flank, was ready for it, and now they look to play those advantages. It's down to Prox to try and clutch, and he cannot. A good round in terms of the push and pull of the map, but ultimately NRG are the ones to fight back into that site.
They're so patient in playing for that retake. The Viper's pit making it awkward. Even though they lost position behind them, it gave Scuba the spot to play inside of. It meant the players on site are worried about somebody walking through that. And as they are, Mada is able to backstab like that, while Mini is causing all these issues in the back lines. Problem was, there was no real front line for their squad. There was no safe place to fight from. They got on the site, and then they looked a little bit lost. For NRG, 7-3 on the board, a big lead for them, and a chance here to make it even better as Mates invest almost everything into this round immediatly. Mini's going to be picked off. Mada, not even the only one taking that fight. Ethan was there as well.
17 kills.
Go get him.
There's no doubt who the difference maker has been in this map so far, but I think for Mates, they're going to have nightmares about this man. Patient stuff from NRG, using the boombot, clearing out tree, making sure any of the danger is gone, and even the spams from Ethan are an inherent danger. Now the showstopper is still available, but it's finding a spot to use it. Is it worth gambling in this round when you're already so far behind?
There's not many more rounds left to go for it. For Martin, it seems like it's worthwhile, and it might be. That Scuba down and the numbers put to even. Time still ticking. Not quite putting the pressure on NRG just yet, but those picks most certainly do. 2 men standing, and the credit's low for a lot of these defenders. It's time to run. A save called by NRG as Gentlemates. They find 4. They take another weapon out of the hands of the defenders, and this half can still end up within punching distance.
That was an important round from Martin. We talked about him as one of the sort of top players of this entire tournament. It was him and LaRock that were leading the way at the start of the day. He's definitely still going to be up there at the end of the day, win or lose, but he hadn't really left his mark on this map just yet. But these couple of picks, Starzo as well, have put them in a good position, especially from such a hefty disadvantage in that round. It was looking like even a showstopper might have been too much of a gamble, but they needed rounds desperately, and they found them. You mentioned it, the economy of NRG is not in the greatest of places. But even still, an 8-4 is definitely possible, and that's uncomfortable for Beepo. It forces them into an attack side. Aggressive play, and they've caught Brock just as he pops his ult.
Well, Mini gave half his health to go through those thorns. Tanked the ultimate as well with the shot to the face, the sight falling, and an opportunity. Mates look to push this time. They're not going to sit back like before, but the problem is showstoppers hunting them down. Mini's being caught. Still, with some players close, but it looks like Martin is going to start falling back. Mates are going to allow them through that choke point. They just need a pick to slow them down, but instead it's NRG finding that momentum. Steaming forward, Starzo won't catch them on the cross, and Martin's down to 20. It has to be Starzo. And the weaker weapons from NRG, they're enough to get the job done.
A really impressive half. There were moments that it looked like Mates might just build up some momentum, but 4 is all they are able to muster.
Switching sides.
And of course, you're going to highlight Mada. 19-9, but it's safe to say him, Ethan, Scuba, all having a stellar half. But the fact is, they're going to need to see a massive response from the mates in the next half if they're going to have any chance of surviving in this tournament and keeping their key safe.
Yeah, this has been a challenge for the mates so far. They've got the crowd by their side. They've got them singing along in tandem, but it hasn't been enough. But you know what? They're not alone. I heard there's some NRG fans in the house with Lou.
Et j'ai l'honneur d'être accompagné de Ravi, qui est un fan japonais de NRG. Donc je vous demanderai, s'il vous plaît, du respect, puisqu'il a fait le voyage pour venir soutenir NRG. Et il n'y en a pas beaucoup des fans NRG ici. Ravi, 今日はありがとうございます。フランスに来て NRG を応援してくれて本当に嬉しいです。そしてなんで日本から NRG を応援しているんですか？
もともと自分バロラントでオーディンの武器が好きで NRG のブロックはオーディがとてもないのでそれで NRG を応援してます。
すごく面白いです。Donc première question, pourquoi est-ce que tu soutiens NRG depuis le Japon? Qu'est-ce qui t'a fait les supporter? Et ben en fait, je suis un grand joueur de Odin et j'ai découvert Brock avec la Odin, c'est ce qui m'a fait le supporter. The reason why I'm supporting NRG is because I'm a big Odin player and I discovered NRG playing Odin and I started following them. And ここで会長のファン域はどう思いますか？なんかジェントルメイツのファンとかそのパリはどう思いますか？
とてもすごい応援だと思います。もう NRG は去年のチャンピオンズでフナティックの応援がすごい中優勝したんでこの応援で多分 NRG が勝てると思います。
すごく勝った。Deuxième question du coup, qu'est-ce que tu penses de l'ambiance ici? Il y a énormément de fans gentlemen qui font du bruit et la France, l'année dernière au Champions c'était pareil, ça m'avait impressionné. Mais NRG sont très forts quand le public est contre eux. NRG are insane when the public is against them. And let's see if they can take the win here on this last map. Arigatou gozaimasu, thank you so much, merci. Et on repart au game.
I'm not sure if they understood what he said, but it seemed like they booed when she was translating that he's a big Odin player. So I think there must have been a mistranslation. Lou's normally great,
not sure
but she must have made a mistake.
What's more impressive, that we found an NRG fan, we found an Odin fan, or Lou translating between 3 different languages in the matter of seconds. That's crazy. Like, props to our stage host. Not Chambers, the other.
Not that Chambers fella.
More importantly, we have Valorant at hand. The mates, I'll be honest, with the way that first half went, this might be a short-lived time for the mates fans in Paris, but ultimately they need to find a response here. A pistol round would not go amiss.
That's the thing for mates. They play. They always knew that the fans had their back, but now seeing it on this stage, feeling it, it can do one of two things. It could push them forward. It could give them what they need to take this across the line, or it could add to the pressure that is mounting round by round. A loss in this pistol, and I think we're leaning towards the latter. For now, mates, on the defensive side, they look for information, and they hear nothing. The door finally swinging open towards this A site, but NRG are using it as a ruse. They have yet to really show their hand.
It's patience, the expectation of aggression. NRG knowing that if they could soak up some pressure, maybe they have an opportunity here, but that's one hell of a start. Ethan gone. And now the attack has spread across the map with a decision to make, and not a lot of time to make it. 35 seconds as they look to double back towards this A site. The problem, though, is they don't have control around B. And with no presence seen on C in a while, the defenders are already fully committing to this A side of the map.
They're only now making it through Heaven, but the timing is roughly the same. Paranoia primed and ready. And a big flood that can come off the back of it. 12 seconds, the plant needs to be found, but the nade makes it uncomfortable. Nice work by Mini to start this off. The flood coming through. Weathered by NRG to get the plant, but not to find the picks after. You can see they were caught off guard by that pace. They didn't expect to be stepping into a minefield. And for Mates, that pistol round is a much-needed victory.
Yeah, Starzo's positioning basically wins them the round. The second they clear the player outside of C, he then has full control outside of B, so he knows they haven't gone back in that direction. And it allows the rest of the team to fully commit to the A hold. And you can see that they're so fast to get back in. And honestly, the resistance shown by NRG in the circumstances wasn't bad. But it was so difficult to find any semblance of control. A much-needed pistol round. But still a long, long way to go. And of course, for NRG, not expecting much of an investment, but I am looking at a Bucky.
No shots landing from Mini to start this off, but he'll have some presence with him, some backup.
There he goes.
On the way. Hello, Mata. He's trying to chase them down, but unfortunately, Brox and Co have come in to clean house. Left with Brock and a chance for an ace. Brock's just a bullet needed. As Brock goes running, surely nobody will steal this one away, and they're baiting. So Brox can have all 5. The crowd is on its feet. And if you want something to inject that energy back into the game, that could certainly be it.
The prodigal son has returned for the Mates. Brought in for this tournament and this tournament alone. A man who had worn that jersey before, left the squad, and now makes it back to EWC with a round that holds so much value. He's now the top fragger in the server, 21 and 10. As said, he's been chugging along all the way through, but
I must wait a moment.
That one helped keep things nice and clean. Of course, this is where NRG look for a response, and wow, this is not the man you want to pressure and push.
And immediately they canceled the play towards the A side as well. No attempt at A main anymore. Instead, the whole squad is in spawn. They thought maybe they were pressuring Broad, but they were running headfirst into NRG. Nice connection by Mini. The wall, or the mound more specifically, getting in the way. Stops it from being a one-shot kill, and despite a lot of damage done, there won't be anything for Mates to write home about here. NRG in a 5 versus 2. Like we said, some chances for Beepo to take easier kills, but all those presidents are being protected.
Oh, okay.
What?
Someone check hit PC. I think as he doesn't know anywhere near how much damage he has done. Any cost would be nice, but there is none to be had. 1 HP, 6 HP, but no kills. And NRG, well, there might have been an ace going the other way in the last round, but it makes absolutely no difference in this one.
And it will be heartbreaking to see that scoreline extend further into NRG's favor, 9-6. It's definitely not out of hand just yet with the full buy of Mates coming up now, but this is where all that pressure comes to a head. Every little decision along the way, it all comes down to this. Good seize, good nade, Mata in trouble, but he survived it. He used his blast packs to get just far enough away from the nade. That should have been a kill. Mates have been hard done by that.
Good early damage. But that is the one man on the other side who'd really be desperate to kill. It seems like the battle of the Titans with Prox and Marder, and while they stand on either side of what is a setup, a reveal that, okay, again, I don't know how he's alive.
He's broken in time. He went in looking for that trip. Look, the second he hits it, they run away. That was intentional. They wanted to pull the rotations, and they have not done so. Martin, waiting patiently, finds one. The TP taken, and Starzo in position. They've not seen him. Left him unchecked. And that's a mistake they might not want to make again. Flawless for Gentlemates. A much-needed round.
That's crazy. Back-to-back flawless rounds in opposite directions. We mentioned it, that nobody died for NRG, and then Nobody died for mates in response. Martin back on the table. The same for Starzo. We said over the last few rounds, it's been a one-man show. And they're desperately going to need these players to start stepping up. And as you said, a lot of this came down to the calls. Martin not budging. Allowed him a freebie.
Nice, bro. Fucking good, boys.
And so much so that we're now going to see the pause, I believe, coming out for the NRG side. And the last time this happened, they went on a big streak. Bonka got his men in line.
Well, after a face like that, I don't want to be hearing what he has to say. A frustrated Bonka coming back into this one, but still with the lead. The pressure is on the other side. Yes, they just found a round. They did it cleanly. We need to see it repeated. NRG have had this extra gear to shift to. They do turn into this hyper-aggressive squad when things aren't going their way, and the more direct hits have been something that we've seen mates struggle with. 9-7, a healthy lead still.
This is a nice spot.
For the current world champions, the Gentlemates again look to make this same aggressive play. Mada's gotten ahead of it this time, decides to, I think, Blastpacker jump very quickly up above. As he drops down, those players have heard him. They are on the other side. Mates about to flood through here, and there is no way they expected this much aggression to come their way. NRG blindsided by the heat coming their way. They'll be sent scurrying.
I thought for a second that
There.
Scuba might have them dead to rights. Wasn't hit by the paranoia, but they're quick enough to kill him off. Even still, though, this leaves an incredibly empty side to the map. The cam will give the game away, but Mada's positioning is an interesting one. He's low HP, but now left as a dagger in the back. If he can get one, that would be helpful. Anything more than that, and it's a problem. People hasn't moved.
The triple bait is crazy.
Oh, but he walks up first. He's watching for it.
First mistake. Now Mada's going back to the rest of the squad. Depot doesn't know that his caution is paying off, that his slow pace is perfectly timed, and in fact, it doesn't matter. Mada's dead anyways to the showstopper. Mates on site, defusing, and Broad is already fleeing. This one's locked in. Mates are one round behind. It looked like NRG had a chance to run away with this, but the race is still on.
Oh, they look like they were about to be blasted out of the tournament. They were 6-1 down not too long ago. But if you've been to the bathroom and just come back, they're now just one round behind. And I like that they still had that back covered. Like, the Beepo was even coming in. That was the one position that wasn't checked, but they were well aware of it. And you have to bear in mind that the pressure that's currently on them, the entire crowd at their back, a tournament in Paris, and then also a chance to make it to a semi-final of an international event. As said, for one of these squads, that would be a dream come true. While the other, well, will be crushed, literally and psychologically.
But we've heard before from Starzo how much it means to represent this club, to be a part of such a big fan base. We know that it means pressure as well. He's never denied that. But in moments like this, looking up and seeing that support, yes, you always know it's there, but now there's no denying it. That's what makes you dig deeper. Big play by Prox to try to dodge the showstopper coming his way, but he can't find his way out of the sight. And Martin is stuck in the mud. Eventually steps forward. No one's looking! That was a big mistake, but NRG, they stabilize.
Luckily, he went for the guy planting, so the others were quick enough to get the trade. I think if he goes for anybody else, he probably comes out with two there. No ultimates to play with on either side. It's just going to be those firefights. Scuba up close, he's taking a hell of a lot of damage, and now runs out of bullets. Mada, though, is there again. He is the villain of this story and looks to continue in that vein. A fourth to add to his tally. Starzo's managed to stick it to half and now looks to try and close the round. But that time ticking so far gone, and Marta looking for his ace. He will find it. This man is looking unstoppable. And the mates are gonna have a man to hate if they lose this game.
Yeah, you're talking about his villain arc for Mata. That's certainly how the crowd's viewing him after that play. Unbelievable work for Gentlemates on their bounce back, on their road to recovery. And they have hit a checkpoint with the barrier down. His name is Mata, the showstopper. Got him nothing. But he claimed everything that was on the table and then some. A surreal performance, not just on this map, but in this series. It might not be the killing blow, but that certainly knocked Gentlemates down a peg.
That might be what breaks the camel's back, that last piece that makes the burden too heavy. The fact is that round was also all about his positioning. The constant duck and weave and re-swing and refight the perfect moment. The second players were looking away. I don't think anyone could have done it better. And you look in the server right now, he is more than double the kills of his next best teammate. You remove Marta from this scenario, and they've probably already lost this map. But you don't get the title of best in the world for nothing. Prox trying to refight. Economically, this round is important, and he just does not stop. I think he's going to need security to leave this building.
If he keeps this up, even if he doesn't, I think he's done enough to earn their hatred at this point. But it looks like they might be feeding off it on the side of NRG.
Okay, well that works.
It's gone down. Scuba wants to be the hometown hero. He's taking out the bad guy. But NRG find themselves a plant. They leave Pico behind as well, waiting, biding his time outside this door. For now, mates are checking it, clearing it, cautious of it, suspicious, and now they strike! Kingo! Good for one. The job done, you would think, with Pipo up top. That's an opportunity to leave Scuba alone, the man who took out their hero. Mata aced the previous, but Scuba drew his final drop of blood. Now, two players stand in his way. He has to do the task. But Mata would take every time. And for mates, a lifeline delivered here at 10-9.
Yeah, you know, it seemed like an impossible task to kill Mata, so Scuba decided to do it for him. A little bit of misfortune that has created a fortunate circumstance for the opposing side. The shot needed even still from Beepo, and again, you might look at those 9 kills and think, well, what has he done? He's probably won them 3 rounds, at least.
He has won them 3 rounds, that's for sure.
Even still, though, the pressure certainly isn't off just yet. 10-9. NRG still in the lead, but clear. The Bonka, again, wants a word with his squad. We've seen both coaches rattling off commands. Their impact in this game has certainly been paramount. As I said, at 6-1 down, brutally honest, I thought mates were out of this game. I thought they were done. I thought that was the moment that we saw NRG just hightail their way to the finish line. But a pause, a clutch from Beepo, and a resurgence began. Prox then stepped up to the plate as well, and we've seen many a hero on either side, although one definitely does stand above everybody else.
Yeah, there is
This goes here. That goes there.
a couple more numbers on Mata's side of the scoreboard than what you see elsewhere. Unbelievable form that he's turned up on today. It's only enough for a 1-round lead. It's dawn turned today here in Paris. Seemed like a bright future awaited the Gentlemates, but At dawn turned dark. Still some hope for this defensive side. 1 round behind now, and pistols up for NRG. What should be an easy round. It starts with NRG making presence on C, attempting to bait those rotations. Play up, grab the orb, and look elsewhere.
That's the thing. This round is a nothing round. Like, you have got a shorty.
Bring them down.
One other upgraded pistol in the form of the Bandit. So orbs are going to be the aim of the game. Try and get those ults as close as possible for the next. The odds of victory are about 1%. It would take mistakes, and with the judge on the other side, okay, they're going to get a little bit aggressive, and that could be a problem. Starzo's also just tanking damage. That 1% chance starting to look lively. Mini maybe makes it that little bit tougher.
30 seconds left.
There's still so little time left, though, for NRG. The plant needing to be found. The fights that they force off the back of it not going to be favorable, but they put the pin in. NRG are starting to believe with Ethan on 8 HP, if he's the one planting, this could end off of time alone. But if not, perhaps there is still some hope for this attacking side. Plant underway. It will not be denied, but now here we go. Okay, shut down, round done.
He's gonna survive, he's gonna survive! He didn't survive!
Him! Inside the pit, the judge goes searching, and what seemed to be a foregone conclusion for mates. An easy round, a shorty, and a bandit. And that is how it falls, that is how it fails. It's heartbreak, 8 seconds in a 3v3. And moments later, they lose it all to one man.
Come on! Come on! Nice! What are you doing?
2 seconds from a level scoreline, and instead they sit at a deficit. That is a backbreaker of a round. That is the round that is going to sit with mates for a long, long time. If this series slips away from them, they could have been sat 10-10, and instead with 2 seconds left on the clock, Scuba is able to clutch. We saw that pit go in and went, that is a bold call.
The thing was, Ethan was planting, and he stops to look for a kill. They don't even deny the plant, and it was stopped on the other side. Like, that squad said, okay, we've got to fight to win this, and it seemed like they'd lost the opportunity because there's still 2 to take down, 5 seconds to do it. A plant not even possible at that point. And NRG take that round. That could be what sends them to the finish line. But Martin here delivers a very important pick. If they can get that rifle, even more so.
Something at least. Oh, a saving grace. Ethan has kept his teammate in the round. Now Martin has a showstopper. Where he places it is going to be integral. A walk up again from Starzo, but most of what he's looking for is information as his teammates roam the map as a trio. But NRG are taking their time. Now there is a cam. They've heard the cam. That's going to be information at least already. Looking to sprint back towards the C site, but it is completely open. The showstopper
Where are you?
will give them a way back in, but do they go early?
Showstopper's ready to roll. It's been activated and fired in for nothing. Trades to start out for NRG, but Prox is here with a little bit more from the waterway. He had backup. They swung in to deal with this man, but he fired back a little stronger. Prox buying them time, buying them a little bit more.
These rounds make no sense. Like, you look at it, as said, the last round I gave a 1% chance. And honestly, with how it went, I think that was the 1%. Then you come into this one, weaker weapons on the other side. Mates, they should be mentally boomed at this point. They should be at a point of no return, but they dig deep when it matters. A matchup that seems to have no favor in any given round, no advantages to be claimed. It all just comes down to the moment of a back and forth of 5 rounds in a row that no one can take a commanding lead. But look at the ults now, look at the weaponry. NRG is still very much in the driver's seat in this round. And with Marder having a showstopper, who's to bet against him?
I must wait.
With or without, I'll take my bets from the table. The trap spotted. Well, Marder's clearly trying to catch someone off guard on the site, but Mate's already playing that retake, knowing the showstopper was on its way. They've avoided it towards the waterway as now the plant looks to come through, but Mates are already at the door. Enemies at the gates. Well, hold on. NRG have gone running down. They've looked for a fight in the spawn, caught Prox off guard, left Beepo isolated now from the rest of the squad. And with the picks going down, the Nightfall as well, delaying, and the flank from Scuba. This is almost an assured win for NRG. You said 1% for them in the eco. I'd give it to Mates right now. They have no idea that Scuba is on his way to win the round single-handedly. Starzo, they shouldn't have any chance of losing this off time alone.
No.
They just interrupt this defuse one by one, running down the seconds and putting it 12-10. Overtime guaranteed, and a chance to crush the key of the hometown heroes with one more round.
I said earlier in the matchup, very early I would say by Marder, that the crowd can be silenced. I'll be honest, other than the faint Mate's chance, you could hear a pin drop in here for just the moment. And look at what they have to fight for survival. 3 rifles, 2 pistols, and 2 rounds needed. Otherwise, NRG go marching on into the semifinals, crush the hearts and the key of the Mates, and still have a chance to come out with an EWC title. That is one hell of a start as well. Beepo gone.
Shadows traveling. Not the player you want to see fall. The A site open for business now as a free plant can be found. NRG, 1 man to the good. A few weapons ahead, and with Mini falling on the flank, it looks like the bright dawn earlier on. All the hope that Mates had, it has been drained from this series as dawn turns to a very dark dusk for Gentlemates. NRG, send them home. They might already be here, but they won't be stepping back on that stage anymore. Their time in the limelight has come to an end for Gentlemates. They hear the crowd roar one last time, but it is to bid them farewell as NRG take this series and take their key to the Crusher.